Chapter 1049. Snow Eagle Run Run. Marquis Ardent Fire anxiously transmitted over. At this moment, his eyes were about to tear apart. He led the 5,000 Ardent Fire Army elites, forming a fiery red giant dragon that was currently fighting with all his might. Every single soldier of the Ardent Fire Army was also doing their best. They were clear that the moment they were defeated, given how these devils were currently wantonly slaughtering people in the Ardent Fire City, it was impossible for them to be spared. There was no way out. All the soldiers were fighting with their lives on the line. Anxious? Have you gone mad? It's useless. Haha, Marquis Ardent Fire. In the past, our tribe was struggling at death's door in the wilderness, carefully surviving. Even though it was hard for us to survive, we were united. That was our home. Just because you chased after a demon with just one move, fire dragon descends from the heavens. The devil dodged your move, but our tribe was wiped out because of it. Only a dozen or so of us survived. We fled in all directions and our fellow tribesmen died one after another. I entered the Black Devil Lake and experienced countless calamities. During the calamity of millions of goo worms, I was one of the 10 goo kings who survived. That's why I'm qualified to be a member of the Black Devil Great Lake. Amongst the many members at the bottom level, I struggled and eventually became the disciple of a primal chaos expert. Devils, even fellow apprentices, are killing each other. Only the one who survives in the end is the strongest demon. I reached the primal chaos realm and even reached the 9th level. I'm now stronger than you. It's a pity that you have the protection of the Ying Shan clan and the Southern Cloud Nation. I've been waiting and waiting. Aha, this day has finally arrived. Back then, why didn't you control yourself a little and avoid our race? As long as you wish it, my entire race can survive. But you didn't. That's right, we are ants. Ants. The weak are ants. They deserve to die. They deserve to die. The eyes of the black-horned muscular male were filled with madness. At the same time, many voice transmissions sounded in the mind of Marquis Ardent Fire. This was Qin You's greatest obsession. It was the obsession that allowed him to climb from the lowest level of the nightmarish Black Devil Great Lake to where he was today. At this moment he was finally about to take his revenge. Naturally, he had to reveal everything and let this Marquis Ardent Fire understand. He died. His entire Ardent Fire City was destroyed. It was all because he had implicated a clan back then. There are many cities in the Southern Cloud Nation. Originally, it might not be your Ardent Fire City. But because of me, I was the one who thought of ways to make Old Ancestor and the others choose the Ardent Fire City. Haha, you destroyed my clan? Today I will kill you, exterminate your clan, and destroy your city. In the future your entire Yingshan clan will be exterminated, haha. Many voice transmissions sounded in the mind of Marquis Ardent Fire. Marquis Ardent Fire gritted his teeth. He was a callous person to begin with. Why would he care if every move of his would affect the weak when he was out on a campaign? But right now, he was still glaring angrily at the black-horned burly man in front of him. Snow Eagle, run. Run for your life. They are too strong, too strong. As long as we can hold on for a day, they will retreat. Marquis Ardent Fire transmitted to Dongbui Shuiying. He knew that he could not survive. Hence, he hoped that Dongbui Shuiying could survive. Being a primal chaos expert of the Void lineage, he specialized in escaping. He might have a slim chance of surviving for a day in the vast Ardent Fire City. One day. This was also the tacit understanding between the Black Devil Great Lake and Southern Cloud King. The blood sacrifice would last for at most a day. Regardless of success or failure, they had to retreat. But facing the team led by White Cloud Devil Master, it was likely that the entire Ardent Fire City would be massacred within an hour. This was primarily because the entire Ardent Fire City was too big, and there were too many citizens. As for Marquis Ardent Fire, the incarnation of Monarch Chunyu and Yingshan Snow Eagle, they could be resolved within a short period according to the plans of the Black Devil Great Lake. Even though the anxious voice of Marquis Ardent Fire reverberated by his ears, Dongbui Shuiying continued teleporting. Die. He coldly stared at a team of 100 Unity Realm devils nearby. Many cracks appeared on the bodies of those devils before they turned into ashes. Prince Snow Eagle. Prince Snow Eagle has saved us. We are saved. Our marquisdom is saved. The Ardent Fire City is saved. The Yingshan clansmen who were saved saw hope amidst despair. In their opinion, Prince Snow Eagle, who was emitting a primal chaos aura, was incredibly powerful. He could kill those devils in an instant, and it was likely that he could save the entire Ardent Fire City. No choice. In the eyes of ordinary citizens, every single primal chaos expert was high above them. I am not willing. I have just broken through to the Void God realm and am qualified to be a disciple of the Ying clan. I can let my mother live a good life. Why must I die now? No. A Ying clan disciple broke through to the Unity realm under the crisis of death. But facing the incoming team of devils, he was filled with despair. As he escaped, he was constantly paying attention to the team of devils behind him. But suddenly, many cracks appeared on the bodies of those devils before they turned into ashes. This Ying clan disciple stopped in a daze. He looked at that white-robed young man standing in midair. The white-robed young man stood in midair. His primal chaos aura emanated a suppressive force that made the disciple involuntarily look up. Prince Snow Eagle? The Ying clan disciple recognized him. The pride of the Marquis Ardent Fire lineage. He was the pride of the entire Ying clan, a legendary genius. It is Prince Snow Eagle. This Ying clan disciple was filled with joy. He had never worshipped Snow Eagle so much before. At this moment, Prince Snow Eagle was shining brightly in his heart. His status had surpassed that of Marquis Ardent Fire, and was only second to Old Mother Ying Shan. Dongbo Shuiying could not tolerate the slaughter of the weak little humans, much less when they were also from the Ying clan. Your teleportation is quite fast. At the same time when Dongbo Shuiying executed his domain technique to kill the fourth team of devils, 4 primal chaos experts appeared in the surroundings. The leading one was a cold old man. After the cold old man teleported, an unseen law domain descended in the surrounding world. The surrounding time-space was vaguely suppressed. Being a 9th level expert, the law domain was perfect. The law domain of a primal chaos expert was considered a miniature cosmos law, and was originally powerful. The cold old man Xuefu was even at the 9th level. Under the suppression of his law domain, even cosmos gods had a hard time sneaking in. Under the suppression of the law domain, nobody could teleport. Dongbo Shuiying looked at the 4 primal chaos experts in front of him. With his attainments in the void, he would be able to sense the moment the other party teleported. According to logic, he should have teleported immediately and could have escaped. But he did not. Instead, he continued killing those teams of devils. Snow Eagle, why aren't you escaping? Marquis Ardent Fire, who was observing this scene from afar, became even more anxious. With your void strength, you should be able to escape in time. Don't care about your clansmen. In the entire Ardent Fire City, you should be the only one who has a strand of hope of surviving. The others have no hope at all. Marquis Ardent Fire felt both grateful and angry that Dongbo Shuiying was still saving his clansmen at this moment. Hua hua hua, a cold wind blew. The surrounding temperature rapidly dropped. Ice shards and snowflakes began appearing in the sky. The cold old man Xuefu, and the 3 primal chaos experts under him maintained the combat formation. One could see an enormous black Xuefu illusion appearing. This Xuefu's body was covered in blood veins. His eyes were blood too. The surrounding temperature was so cold that ordinary Unity experts would freeze to death. As the cold wind blew on his face, Dongbo Shuiying tightened his grip on the Scarlet Cloud God's spear in his hand. What a pity. You're a genius. If you were given enough time, it is possible for you to reach my level of strength. But it's a pity that you will die today. The cold old man Xuefu's voice was cold. The 3 primal chaos experts by the side were also looking at Dongbo Shuiying with pity. Kill him. The cold old man said. Do it. Kill. All of them were relaxed. But they did not show any mercy when killing. After all, this was a great devil at the primal chaos realm. They wanted to kill him as soon as possible before working together to eliminate Marquis Ardent Fire. A strange sound could be heard. What is that sound? Of the 4 primal chaos experts, a golden-robed devilish young man was slightly startled. Closely following that, he lowered his head and saw a huge hole appearing on his chest. Under the strange sound, a strange ripple spread across his entire body. The golden-robed young man's body was crushed into powder, and he vanished into thin air. The 3 primal chaos experts could only see a blurry spear shadow flashing. A bloody hole appeared on their chests, and their bodies shattered into fine powder before dissipating. Hong hong hong. Only the cold old man Xuefu let out a roar amidst his shock. Chin yo. He did his best to defend against it. However, the seemingly ordinary spearhead strangely appeared behind him with a terrifying might. It directly pierced into his body, causing a part of his body to be annihilated. It was a silent annihilation. This cold old man felt incomparably terrified. Southern Cloud 12 Sacred Styles, Shattering the Void? But since when did Shattering the Void become so strange? I can't defend against it at all. Even though he did his best to defend against it, the surrounding void distorted strangely. 3 consecutive spears pierced through his body, causing his body to be destroyed. The final spear pierced through his throat. His head also began disintegrating at that moment. He looked with wide eyes at the cold white-robed young man who was wielding a spear. He did not dare believe that he would die in the hands of a young man. How could this be? Following that, his consciousness was completely destroyed. Silence. Previously, when the team of Unity Realm Devils was being massacred, the other teams of devils above the Marquisdom were also watching from afar. Even the black-horned muscular male, Chenyo, who was fighting with Marquis Ardent Fire, and the other 3 primal chaos experts were paying attention to this place. Marquis Ardent Fire was also anxiously paying attention to this place. But at this moment it was silent. Nobody, no matter who it was, would have thought that this would be the outcome. A 9th-level primal chaos expert led 3 primal chaos experts to form a combat formation, and the 3 subordinates were all turned into fine particles before turning into ashes. The only 9th-level expert, Xuefu, was killed in just 3 spears. He could not even block a single spear. Southern Cloud Nation within the Royal Palace. Old Mother Ying Shan, Empress Ghostly Gong Liang Yi, and the other conferred kings, including Monarch Sky Yin, Monarch Chunyu, and Monarch Greedy Peng, were all watching the scene displayed on the circular mirror in a daze. In their hearts, they originally thought that they were going to see an absolute genius being killed. But at this moment what they saw stunned them momentarily. They did not know what to say. The eyes of Southern Cloud King that were originally cold and calm without the slightest expression abruptly brightened. He stared at the circular mirror floating in midair and shouted, "Good." Chapter 1050. Following Southern Cloud King's good, the group of people in the palace hall who were originally stunned reacted. They could not be blamed since the scene shown on the circular mirror was too shocking. Formidable, formidable. A combat formation formed by 4 primal chaos existences was actually broken by him? Monarch Skyyin exclaimed. That's right. This is a combat formation led by Old Devil Xuefu. In terms of defense, it should be at least at the peak of the 9th level. Even if I acted, it wouldn't be that easy to break it. Monarch Chunyu exclaimed from the side. A truly powerful battle formation, even if it was a soul-type attack, would be blocked by the strongest expert of the entire battle formation. Hence, there was no difference between attacking the weakest expert in the combat formation and attacking the strongest expert. Naturally, there were some unique techniques in the long history of Realm Heart Great Land that could target a single member of the combat formation, rendering the combat formation ineffective. For instance, Curse Technique, Prophecy Technique, or Karma Destruction Technique, or Yin-Yang Rotation Killing Technique. He executed 2 spear techniques one after another. Monarch Greedy Peng praised, the first spear technique is very elusive. It did not pierce through the combat formation, yet a spear shadow pierced through the chest of a primal chaos expert, causing a bloody hole to appear. Furthermore, his body turned into many fragments before dissipating from the world. Those 3 weaker primal chaos experts died in such a manner. Amen, right. His spear did not pierce through the combat formation, but there were vague spear shadows flashing past, causing a bloody hole to appear on the chests of the 3 primal chaos experts before their bodies disintegrated into many fragments. Everyone present was extraordinary. Either cosmos gods or 10th level existences could make an accurate judgment. The second spear technique is the 12th style of our Southern Cloud 12 sacred styles, Void Shatter. 3 consecutive spear strikes landed on the body of Old Devil Xuefu. Monarch Greedy Peng said, Void Shatter is only at the God Yuan Palace 9th level. Its power is slightly greater, though it is slightly clumsy and direct. It is easy to defend against. But in the hands of this Snow Eagle Prince, the moment the spear had appeared, it had arrived by the side of Old Devil Xuefu. Old Devil Xuefu could not defend against a single move at all. Although the power of the Shattering Void is great, and Old Demon Xuefu's body isn't considered strong, he was still killed in just 3 spears. The spear in young Master Snow Eagle's hand must be an extremely powerful treasure. This will allow the Void Shatter technique to unleash even greater power, Emperor Greedy Peng said. Everyone present nodded. First, break the battle formation. Without the protection of the battle formation, Old Demon Xuefu's survivability was greatly reduced. However, killing him with just 3 spears was too exaggerated. There was only one explanation: that spear was a terrifying secret treasure. That's not even the best. A grin appeared on the face of Southern Cloud King. He chuckled, breaking the combat formation technique and the secret spear treasure in his hand. These are secondary. The most formidable aspect of this Yingshan Snow Eagle is his domain technique. How perfect was the Bloodcloth Devil's Law domain! It was able to suppress all fluctuations. But Snow Eagle could still control the void, allowing his spear to easily appear by the side of Devil Shuefu. It was fine if it appeared because according to logic, Devil Shuefu should be able to sense traces of the void transformation, and should be able to defend against it in time. But in reality he was a 9th level expert, and an expert who excelled in close combat. Yet he could not defend against a single move from the other party. Clearly his control of the void is too formidable. He can execute it instantaneously without leaving any traces. Yes. Everyone present turned solemn. That's right. To prevent a 9th level expert from defending against a single move, this domain technique was indeed horrifying. It was precisely because of this terrifying domain that the originally clumsy shattering void was able to display its miraculous effect. He could not even defend against it. How terrifying. Everyone present was aghast. "Old Mother, congratulations." Empress Ghostly praised. "Haha, Old Mother, the Yingshan clan has produced an amazing young fellow." Monarch Skying chuckled. Old Mother Yingshan was also grinning. She had some deductions in her heart. In the fragmented records regarding the earliest experts in Realm Heart Great Land, Scarlet Cloud Paragon Master was famous for not being afraid of group battles, and his void domain was terrifying. Great Paragon Lu Tian, who had an extremely high status in the Fan clan, mentioned that Scarlet Cloud Paragon Master wasn't any weaker than him. Nonetheless, that era was before the First War of the Ancient Nations. Many cultivation techniques had yet to be created, and Scarlet Cloud Paragon Master was too arrogant and died in the end. If one could grasp more survival secret techniques in this era, it would be harder for one to die. Even someone as arrogant as Snowhook King was still alive. "Little fellow Snow Eagle, is this the reason why you wanted to get this spearhead in the past?" Old Mother Yingshan guessed inwardly. The smile on her old face became more radiant. It was just 300 million cosmos crystals, yet it allowed her clan's disciple, Yingshan Snow Eagle, to learn such a cultivation technique and reach his current strength. It was absolutely worth it. Southern Cloud Capital, Fan Clan Residence. This. Fan Tianchang's eyes widened. Quite a few others by the side stood up abruptly. They were looking at the scene on the heaven observation mirror with horror. "What a fellow. This is too frightening." Fan Tianchong muttered inwardly. His judgment was incredibly sharp. Furthermore, the inheritance of Scarlet Cloud Paragon Master's lineage could only be found in one place in the entire Realm Heart Great Land, within the Fan clan. That was a secret importation within the clan, because they were clear how powerful the Scarlet Cloud combat technique was. He always wanted that spearhead? And he relied on it to comprehend the combat technique of Scarlet Cloud Paragon Master? Fan Tianchong muttered inwardly, this comprehension ability is too frightening. Comprehending a combat technique just by relying on the inscriptions on a secret treasure? It was not much different from creating a combat technique by himself. If he had the complete absolute art to guide him, it would be much easier. Fortunately, he could at most comprehend some of the weaker parts of Scarlet Cloud Paragon Master's combat technique. The truly profound parts aren't that easy to comprehend. Fan Tianchong muttered inwardly. Dark Great Lake within a grand palace hall. The 3 famous religious masters in Realm Heart Great Land were seated at the highest position. Below them were the 7 cosmos gods and the group of devil masters. Everyone was originally in a relaxed atmosphere as they watched the scene projected on the heaven observation mirror. To them this was a joyous banquet. They were extremely happy to see their subordinates being blood sacrificed in the Southern Cloud Nation. Amen? How could this be? How could this be possible? They were all stunned. Even the 3 religious masters seated high above were startled. For a moment, the joyous atmosphere in the palace hall disappeared. It became silent. Who is this young man? How could he be so powerful? Which 10th level expert from Realm Heart Great Land is temporarily staying in the Ardent Fire City? Yama religious master, who sat at the center of the 3 religious masters, said indifferently. Clearly he did not know who Yingshan Snow Eagle was. After all, given his identity, he disdained from knowing such information. Reporting to religious master, this young man is called Yingshan Snow Eagle. The incarnation of the thin green-haired old man immediately stood up. He respectfully answered, "He is a disciple from the Ying Shan clan. When he was born, many people in the outer world, including the Summer Wind Ancient Nation, Snow Hook Nation, Maple Nest Nation, and other neighboring nations as well as some from the Moonflower Ancient Nation, had immediately noticed this white-robed young man. They were startled by the strength of this young man and began collecting detailed information about him. But in the Ardent Fire City, the battle was still ongoing. What? The muscular male with a curved horn, Chinyo, who was originally filled with killing intent and was currently leading 3 subordinates to attack Marquis Ardent Fire and the others, was so frightened that his expression changed. He was able to climb step by step from the lowest level of the Black Devil Great Lake to where he was now. Seeking luck and avoiding calamity was practically an instinct of Chinyo. "Hurry up and leave," Chinyo shouted. The other 3 primal chaos devils quivered. They were completely frightened. The subordinates led by Old Devil Xuefu were not any weaker than them, yet they were exterminated in the blink of an eye. The 4 primal chaos devils retreated. They maintained their domain, preventing Dongbua Shuiying from teleporting close to them. When they reached a distance of 50,000 kilometers away from Marquis Ardent Fire, they immediately removed the law domain suppression and teleported away. "Go. Too terrifying. Hurry up and leave. We'll die if we're late." The other 4 teams of Unity Realm devils within the Marquisdom were instinctively teleporting away. Even the 3 primal chaos devils led by Old Devil Xuefu were exterminated in an instant, so who would go and obstruct that white-robed young man? That pure and holy white-robed male who was originally seated cross-legged at the center of the Ardent Fire City had a slight change in expression. He did not hesitate to keep the blood sacrificial magic bottle in front of him. At the same time he transmitted an order: "The blood sacrifice will temporarily stop. Temporarily forbid killing." Yes. The teams of devils scattered across the Ardent Fire City acknowledged the order, causing those cultivators who were fleeing in despair to fall into a daze. Those teams of devils actually stopped? The magic bottle was temporarily kept. At this moment, even if they were to kill, the strand of origin energy that dissipated from their souls would be wasted. It was better to temporarily let those cultivators live a little longer. Yingshan Snow Eagle? White Cloud Devil Master kept the blood sacrificial magic bottle. His gaze landed on that white-robed young man standing above the Marquisdom. Chapter 1051. Within the Ardent Fire Marquisdom, the Yingshan clan members who were originally fleeing in all directions stopped. They saw the white-robed young man who had teleported to the side of Marquis Ardent Fire. Why are the devils leaving? It's Prince Snow Eagle. Prince Shuiying has just killed 4 primal chaos devils with just a few moves. What for primal chaos devils? Aren't they qualified to be conferred marquises? Right, they were all killed in the blink of an eye. All the devils have been scared away. The soldiers by the side of Marquis Ardent Fire and the Yingshan clan members who witnessed that battle were frantically spreading the news. Many clansmen within the Marquisdom were looking at Dongbua Shuiying with eyes filled with worship. Too formidable. Even the 5,000 Ardent Fire elites led by Marquis Ardent Fire were completely suppressed. Prince Snow Eagle had killed 4 primal chaos devils and scared away all the other devils? At this moment, in the hearts of many Yingshan clan members within the Marquisdom, the status of Prince Snow Eagle had rapidly risen. It had already surpassed the status of Marquis Ardent Fire. Too formidable. Too heaven-defying. This is an absolute expert from our Yingshan clan. Many Yingshan clan disciples felt honored. Their hearts were filled with pride. They were all looking at that figure in midair with worship. Snow Eagle, your strength is simply... Marquis Ardent Fire looked at the white-robed young man in front with disbelief. Grandpa Marquis, this battle has yet to end. There is still White Cloud Devil Master amongst them. Dongbua Shuiying said, in case they deal with you and disturb my heart, I'll temporarily keep all of you into my Eden treasure. All right. Marquis Ardent Fire nodded. He understood that he would only be a burden in a battle between experts at the level of Yingshan Snow Eagle and White Cloud Devil Master. Oh. Dongbua Shuiying waved his hand. Marquis Ardent Fire and the 5,000 Ardent Fire elites by his side did not resist at all. They were kept into the Eden treasure. Following that, Dongbua Shuiying disappeared. Formed the Great Black Devil Combat Formation. Over at the side of the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace, the 12 primal chaos experts worked together to attack the incarnation of Monarch Chunyu. And at this moment, Chinyo, led the three primal chaos experts over. They could feel how terrifying that white rogue young man was and immediately wanted to construct the Great Black Devil Combat Formation. The Black Demon Battle Formation was extremely complex. Usually only primal chaos experts could arrange it. They were all four primal chaos experts working together. And if it was the Great Black Demon Combat Formation, it would be formed by 4 Black Demon Combat Formations, and that would be a total of 16 primal chaos experts. Currently there were exactly 16 here. We have 4 9th level existences here, and 12 other primal chaos existences. If we form the Great Black Devil Battle Formation, we should be able to suppress a Devil Master. These primal chaos existences were all filled with confidence. Stupid. White Cloud Devil Master teleported. Devil Master. The 16 primal chaos devils respectfully greeted. Didn't you see that Xue Fu and the others were killed in an instant? Battle formations are a joke in front of young Master Snow Eagle. His spear techniques can completely attack the weaklings in battle formations. White Cloud Devil Master said coldly. Everyone present was shocked. What, attacking the weaklings? Techniques that could disregard battle formations and attack the weaklings were not easily taught to others. Furthermore, it was hard to grasp and learn them. The 4 of you stay behind. The other primal chaos existences should temporarily retreat. White Cloud Devil Master waved his hand, keeping the other 12 primal chaos existences into his Eden treasure. Those devils did not resist. They were willing to temporarily hide and were at ease hiding with White Cloud Devil Master. After all, if the battle formation was useless, these 7th and 8th level primal chaos existences would only end up being slaughtered in front of young Master Snow Eagle. The 4 of you arrange a battle formation together and watch from the side. White Cloud Devil Master said. Yes. Qin Yo and the other 3 9th level primal chaos existences immediately arranged a battle formation. For a moment, all of them displayed the techniques they were good at. Thunder and fire surged in the surroundings and there were also strange ripples. There were even black clouds spreading out. Every single one of their techniques wasn't any weaker than Xue Fu's, and the 4 of them were even more amazing when they worked together. Naturally they could remain calm by the side. Leave this young Master Snow Eagle to me. White Cloud Devil Master stood calmly before the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace. Within the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace, many mechanisms were shut down. Within the innermost cultivation room, Chun Yu Wei and the others were hiding here. Yingshan Snow Eagle? Chun Yu Wei was also controlling part of the arrays covering the entire Ardent Fire City. He was constantly sensing the entire Ardent Fire City and saw how Dongbo Shuang easily killed Old Devil Xue Fu and the other 3 primal chaos existences. We have hope. We have hope of surviving. The eyes of Chun Yu Wei brightened. Hall Master, many people outside are spreading the news saying that young Master Snow Eagle has killed 4 primal chaos existences, frightening the devils to a halt. The others hiding within the cultivation room said. Chun Yu Wei nodded. He was slightly nervous. We still have to wait a while. Given his identity, he was naturally clear how terrifying that pure and holy white-robed male outside the palace was. That was a devil master from the Black Devil Great Lake. Misty Cloud Pavilion. What, the devils have stopped. Brother Lai Hu, I've heard that your son, young Master Snow Eagle, has come out of closed-door cultivation. He killed 4 primal chaos existences in one go, frightening those devils. By the window of a pavilion in the Misty Cloud Pavilion, Pavilion Master Chun Yu Feng and Yingshan Lai who were peeking stealthily from the window. They could see many teams of devils standing in midair. The teams of devils had stopped at this moment. They were no longer massacring. It's my son? Yingshan Lai who was currently blinking his eyes. I still dare to lie. It is my big brother who told me personally. You better be careful. My big brother has ordered me to protect you. The plump Chun Yu Feng was also nervous. He was carefully looking outside. South, a white-robed young man appeared out of nowhere. Yingshan Lai who stared at this white-robed young man in a daze. Chun Yu Feng widened his eyes even more. Prince Snow Eagle. Father, there is no need to resist. Dongbo Shuang said. Ah. Yingshan Lai who rapidly nodded. Dongbo Shuang waved his hand and kept his father into his Eden treasure. Following that, he turned his gaze to the distance. He could see a pure and holy white-robed male standing there calmly. Dongbo Shuang understood that the other party was waiting for him. South, Dongbo Shuang teleported over. In front of the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace. Including Qin Yo, there were 4 9th level experts standing by the side. Their auras were grand. All of them were staring coldly at the white-robed young man who appeared out of nowhere. Why is this Prince Snow Eagle from the Ying Shan clan so powerful? Marquis Ardent Fire's luck is too good. Originally Xuefu and I could kill Marquis Ardent Fire in a short time. Qinyo thought, there's no rush. Wait until we get rid of this Prince Snow Eagle. By then, killing Marquis Ardent Fire will be simple. And on the other side, Dongbo Shuiying was also looking at the opponent in front of him. He did not dare to belittle the 4 primal chaos devils in front of him because every single member of those 4 was powerful. When they formed a combat formation, it would be even more frightening. Naturally, the greatest threat was this White Cloud Devil Master in front of him. The fame of White Cloud Devil Master in the Black Devil 4 nations was sufficient to strike terror into the hearts of many clans. His fame was forged from the corpses of many people, and he could suppress new cosmos gods. If it were in his previous life, he was not the opponent of White Cloud Devil Master even at his peak. But in this life he was fortunate to obtain this complete Scarlet Cloud God Spear. He cultivated for 1.5 billion years and he was not afraid of him. Prince Snow Eagle. White Cloud Devil Master said. His voice was calm. White Cloud Devil Master. Dongbo Shuiying said. The end of the Scarlet Cloud God Spear in his hand smashed on the ground, emitting a chong sound that reverberated in the surroundings. White Cloud Devil Master chuckled. Prince Snow Eagle, who would have thought that such a genius expert like you would appear in the Southern Cloud Nation? If it were during ordinary times, I would likely invite you for a few cups of wine. Reaching your level, it is rare for you to fight to the death. It's a pity that this is the day of blood sacrifice, and it represents the face of my Black Devil Great Lake. I have to kill you. It's a pity that such a genius would die the moment he appeared. Oh, White Cloud Devil Master has quite an arrogant tone. He is much stronger than you. Dongbo Shuiying said. Across various regions in the Realm Heart Great Land, the various organizations watching the battle were inwardly startled. This Snow Eagle Prince was quite daring. Haha. White Cloud Devil Master did not seem angry. Instead, his pure and holy aura became denser. If you were given sufficient time to perfect your strength, it would be hard for me to kill you. As for now, those newly advanced cosmos gods who have yet to perfect their strength aren't my opponent. Much less you? You can forget about shaking my heart. Dongbo Shuiying said. That's fine too. White Cloud Devil Master softly nodded. I believe there should be quite a few organizations in the Realm Heart Great Land watching the battle from afar. Dying in such a battle isn't a disgrace to you. Receive my move. The moment he finished speaking, clouds and fog suddenly appeared in the surrounding region spanning 5 million kilometers. Every cloud and fog was rolling. They seemed weak, yet they contained an incomparably frightening power. Everywhere they passed through, those pavilions and residences were all razed to the ground with a rumble. Even though the distant cultivators had already fled far away and did not dare to get close, the region spanning 5 million kilometers was too big. Some of the weaker cultivators did not manage to escape far before they were engulfed by the clouds and exterminated. Within the region spanning 5 million kilometers, even the outer structures of the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace were shattered. Only the core palace that was flickering with the light of the array was barely resisting against the clouds. This cloud and fog had also reached where Dongbo Shuiying was. Chapter 1052. Those weaker cultivators were killed by the shockwaves. Dongbo Shuiying's pupils dilated. He could not save them in time since the enemy could unleash his domain with a thought. Don't think that this Snow Eagle Prince is powerful. Who knows, he might turn into dust under the domain of Devil Master. He has been in closed-door cultivation for 1.5 billion years. I doubt he has any powerful protective secret treasures. His Southern Cloud sacred body doesn't seem to have been cultivated to a high realm either. I'm afraid he might not be able to resist against the domain of Devil Master. Not far away, the 4 9th level experts were discussing among themselves. They were filled with confidence in White Cloud Devil Master. The rolling clouds rushed towards Dongbo Shuiying. Break! Dongbo Shuiying wielded the Scarlet Cloud God Spear in his hand. With a thought, the Scarlet Cloud domain erupted. One could see the void in the surrounding 5 million kilometers surging like waves. Every void wave contained many ripples that fiercely clashed against the clouds. This rolling cloud clashed against the void wave. Almost instantaneously, the void wave weakened, and the rolling cloud wave was left with 5 to 6 layers of power that rampaged in all directions. It is indeed the cloud scripture from the 10 holy scriptures. It is famous for being tyrannical. My Scarlet Cloud domain specializes in controlling the void. It is slightly weaker in terms of direct suppression. Dongbo Shuang thought. Hung Long Long, the rolling clouds clashed against the body of Dongbo Shuang. Nevertheless, the surrounding void distorted. These clouds were deflected to the surrounding. In addition, there was a strange spatial maelstrom fluctuation around Dongbo Shuang. It was as if there were 3 void stairs revolving around his body, isolating all incoming energy. It could be said to be untouchable by myriad techniques. What? The 4 spectating 9th-level experts were startled. He withstood it head-on? This is a cultivation technique from the 10 Holy Scriptures. In terms of cultivation difficulty, the Southern Cloud 12 Sacred Styles was relatively simple. But in terms of power, even though it was top-notch, only the 2 secret impartation techniques had reached the 10th level power. There were quite a few secret impartation techniques in the 6 great ancient nations that were above the Southern Cloud 12 Sacred Styles. Of course, the price of cultivation was also higher. For the Southern Cloud 12 Sacred Styles, to reach the 10th level power, one had to first reach the 10th level grand perfection in the Southern Cloud Sacred Body. This was equivalent to cultivating one's body into a perfect secret treasure. Just the various precious materials required would cost about 2 billion cosmos crystals. Furthermore, these precious materials were rarely seen. It was very difficult to buy it even if one had universe crystals. And the technique that White Cloud Demon Master cultivated had an even greater origin. It was one of the supreme scriptures from one of the 6 great ancient nations, the Myriad Realms Ancient Nation, that was faintly stronger than the Summer Wind Ancient Nation, the Cloud Scripture of the 10 Holy Scriptures. Just learning the portion up to the 10th level and the required rare materials cost a total of 5 billion cosmos crystals. The moment he succeeded, not only would his survival capabilities not be any weaker than a large success Southern Cloud Sacred Body, he would even have a domain technique that could reach the 10th level power and several other killing moves. What you displayed wasn't the Southern Cloud 12 Sacred Styles. White Cloud Devil Master chuckled as he strolled over. You take one of my moves as well. Dongbo Shuang immediately pulled out his spear. The suppression strength of the Scarlet Cloud domain was slightly weaker than the other party. But the void distortion was much stronger. Even though the distance between them was very far, Dongbo Shuang's spear had strangely reached the forehead of White Cloud Devil Master the moment it pierced out. White Cloud Devil Master's palm had already blocked in front of his forehead. The spear tip pierced through his palm. The spear tip collapsed and was destroyed. Even half of White Cloud Devil Master's palm was blasted apart. He frowned slightly, and the cloud around his palm rapidly condensed back to its original state. What a formidable void domain. Even I can't suppress it. I can barely sense the traces of your spear. White Cloud Devil Master continued speaking casually. His palm abruptly waved out. His palm abruptly turned bigger. It spanned a few tens of thousands of kilometers. It was as if a huge cloud had formed a palm that rumbled as it pressed down on Dongbo Shuang. Break! Dongbo Shuang did not dodge. Instead, he directly pierced his spear at that enormous palm. Hong! The palm fiercely slammed onto the ground, causing a huge crater to appear. But this white cloud palm also had a hole on it, and it rapidly condensed back to its original state. Beneath the huge crater there was a bottomless hole. You didn't die from my slap, did you? White Cloud Devil Master sneered as he looked at the hole. Following that, the rumbling clouds continued to destroy the depths of the earth. Shio! A spear shadow suddenly pierced through the sky, directly piercing out of the ground. Following that, it strangely appeared in front of White Cloud Devil Master's chest. He did not even have time to block, and the spear had already pierced through his chest. White Cloud Devil Master's entire body trembled, and the enormous palm that he had formed trembled. So fast. White Cloud Devil Master's expression changed. He took a deep breath and instantly the cloud surged into his mouth. His body strength was clearly increasing. Dongbo Shuang also shot out from the ground and landed on the ground. Void Shatter is only a 9th level move. Even with the help of the Scarlet Cloud Divine Spear, it is only at the peak of the 9th level. Although it is known for its power, and is barely comparable to a 10th level move, even with the help of the Scarlet Cloud Domain, White Cloud Devil Master was still able to block it. His body is unpredictable and it does not affect his strength at all. Instead, the 9th level peak Void Shatter is slightly weaker but more unpredictable. His opponent was unable to block it. He had obtained the Scarlet Cloud Divine Spear for 1. 5 billion years and had created 5 killer moves. One of them was a combination attack. Since he did not have any clones, he naturally could not use it. As for the other 4 killer moves, the strongest was the Scarlet Cloud Domain. After comprehending the mystical runes of the Divine Spear, the Scarlet Cloud Domain reached the 9th level. The difficulty of this was no less than creating a 9th level move. With the help of the Scarlet Cloud Divine Spear, he could unleash 10th level power. This was currently Dongbo Shui Ying's only 10th level move. As for the other killer moves, they were only at the peak of the 8th level. With the help of the spear, they could only reach the 9th level peak. No other choice. In his previous life, he had only created 2 9th level moves. Even if he had the Scarlet Cloud Divine Spear, and even if he cultivated the Void Lineage 5 billion years was ultimately too short. It was already amazing for him to deduce a move that reached the 9th level. As for the Southern Cloud 12 Sacred Styles, because he had too few treasures, and the Southern Cloud Sacred Body was only at the 8th level, he could not cultivate the 2 Secret Importation Styles. Even though the Secret Treasure Spear was powerful, it could only unleash the power at the peak of the 9th level. After all, the Scarlet Cloud Divine Spear and the Scarlet Cloud Combat Technique were the most compatible. The 5 killer moves that Dongbo Shuiying deduced were actually just a small portion of the Scarlet Cloud Combat Technique. Die for me. After failing consecutively, White Cloud Devil Master felt slightly frustrated. He swallowed the endless white fog, causing his body to condense to the limit. This was another combat technique of the Cloud Scripture. Kill. He directly charged over. His speed was fast, and with a Hong Long, he punched out. A spear clashed against that fist. Dongbo Shuiying clearly wanted to clash head-on, but in the end, a surging force was transmitted over through the spear. Even when the spear in Dongbo Shuiying's hand trembled, causing many void ripples to appear on the surface of the spear, he was merely able to dissipate a portion of the force. His entire body could not help but turn into a stream of light as he flew backwards. Hong. His body smashed heavily against the ground, creating a ravine that was several hundred kilometers long. Given enough time, you might be able to defeat me. But now, you aren't my opponent. White Cloud Devil Master's figure flashed. He chased after Dongbo Shuiying, slapping his palm over once again. Ping ping ping. Even though Dongbo Shuiying executed his spear, he would be sent flying after brushing against it. At this moment, White Cloud Devil Master was extremely ferocious. Even though there were 3 layers of maelstrom stairs revolving around Dongbo Shuiying's body, he could not help but spurt out a mouthful of fresh blood. I'm still lacking when fighting head-on with you. Dongbo Shuiying grinned. He had finally experienced the strength of a 10th level expert in Realm Heart Great Land. White Cloud Devil Master was stunned. I'm not going to play with you anymore. Dongbo Shuiying turned around and left. Escaping? White Cloud Devil Master abruptly opened his mouth. His head rapidly enlarged. His mouth felt like it could devour the world as it swallowed towards Dongbo Shuiying. Clearly, he wanted to devour the other party in a single mouthful. He could see that this Snow Eagle Prince only had some formidable protective cultivation technique. His body was not considered strong. As long as he ate him, he could use his secret technique to refine Dongbo Shuiying into powder. He had once swallowed an expert from Fiery Zhao Nation who had just broken through to the 10th level, trapping him within his body. The enemy could not escape at all. White Cloud Sacred Body forcefully refined and crushed the enemy for a total of several tens of thousands of years. Eventually, the enemy could no longer hold on. Fiery Zhao Nation King personally negotiated with the Black Devil Great Lake. Only after paying a huge price did White Cloud Devil Master agree to release the enemy. South, Dongbo Shuiying naturally understood the other party's heaven-devouring refinement, killing move. With a sway of his body, he appeared several tens of thousands of kilometers away, arriving where the 4 9th level experts were. Under the Scarlet Cloud Domain. Even if he could not teleport, he could distort the void and travel a great distance with a single step. Damn. White Cloud Devil Master's expression changed. This Snow Eagle's domain is too strange. He can fight whenever he wants and leave whenever he wants. The Scarlet Cloud Domain that reached the 10th level was clearly terrifying. For instance, the Cloud Scripture was something the Myriad Realms ancient nation was willing to impart to others as long as they paid a sufficient price. But the Scarlet Cloud combat technique was unique to the Fan clan within the Summer Wind ancient nation. According to rumors, only the 3 great clans within the Summer Wind ancient nation could learn it after paying a huge price. As for those outside the nation, they were not allowed to learn it. The stronger the technique, the harder it was to learn it. Since I can't kill White Cloud, killing you all is fine too. Dongbo Shuiying grinned at the 4 9th level experts in front of him. Audacious. Savage. These 4 9th level devils were infuriated. They had already formed a combat formation and were not afraid of White Cloud Devil Master, so why would they be afraid of this Snow Eagle? Let's work together and kill him. White Cloud Devil Master roared out. Even though he was proud, he understood that he could not kill this Snow Eagle Prince by himself. Chapter 1053. At this moment, the 4 9th level experts formed into a combat formation. They were filled with ferocious might. They dared to suppress even devil masters and were naturally confident. At that moment, a white-haired blood-robed old man lightly waved his sleeves. It seemed like a light breeze, but it was actually a killing move. After all, not every primal chaos expert loved close combat. For instance, in his previous life, Dongbo Shuiying rarely engaged in close combat when he comprehended the mirage and illusory realm. Dongbo Shuiying's expression changed slightly. His crimson cloud domain, which he had been maintaining all this time, instantly felt a very slight ripple. The white-haired, crimson-robed elder had merely waved his sleeve, and the ripple had instantly reached him. Even his crimson cloud domain had not been able to shift it away in time. Clearly, after the battle formation had reached the 10th level, it had naturally become even more extraordinary. Wang. The fluctuations instantly attacked. The 3 whirlpool stairs around Dongbo Shuiying's body forcefully blocked off 70 to 80% of the force, allowing the remaining force to invade his entire body, causing his body and soul to tremble violently. The 8th level of the Southern Cloud Sacred Body was ultimately too weak in a battle at this level. Fortunately, Dongbo Shuiying's realm was high enough, and he had a deep understanding of voidification. Ordinary bloodline cultivators mainly relied on secret arts. On the other hand, Dongbo Shuiying also cultivated the laws of profound mysteries. Even though his body was very weak, he was still able to use an extremely profound technique called voidification. After all, in his previous life, Emperor Juyun's inheritance and Walker's hidden secret placed great emphasis on voidification. He had once comprehended the scaled armor of General Mo Gu. At that time, he wanted to reach the pinnacle of voidification, at the primal chaos realm. Unfortunately, not too long after he obtained the scale armor, he was forced to reincarnate against the sacred master. But in the aspect of voidification, his foundation was incredibly deep. By relying on the laws and profound mysteries, he was able to weaken the attack by 90%, allowing the Southern Cloud Sacred Body to resist against it. His body should be quite weak, but he managed to resist it? The old man in a blood-red robe gritted his teeth and waved his robe several times. Woohoo! Although Dongbo Shuiying could feel his body trembling, it did not affect his ability to fight. The Realm Heart Great Land is unlike the Primal Chaos Void. There were even more combat methods here. So if you want to live, you have to make up for every shortcoming. Dongbo Shuiying understood this point. Currently, his weakest aspect was his fleshy body. There was a gap of 2 levels between the 8th and 10th level Southern Cloud Sacred Body. This was a qualitative gap. 2 levels usually resulted in a large-scale massacre. At this moment, regardless of whether it was White Cloud Devil Master or the 4 9th level cultivators in the combat formation, they were all displaying the strength of a 10th level cultivator. Die. White Cloud Devil Master didn't care about his reputation and launched a sneak attack. He opened his bloody mouth and was about to swallow him whole. Dongbo Shuiying hastily dodged a few thousand li away. At the same time, the spear in his hand slashed out furiously. With a swing of the spear, it landed right next to White Cloud Devil Master's mouth. Hung Long, White Cloud Devil Master's body was not damaged at all. His body only trembled slightly and his attack was affected. Boom. A thunder fire descended abruptly. The speed was fast. Even though it could not match up to that ripple which had no gaps in between, Dongbo Shuiying did not have the time to dodge. A thunder fire directly struck his body, though his body seemed to be in another world. The thunder fire then bombarded on the ground, causing a bottomless pit to form. I was attacked twice consecutively? Dongbo Shuiying felt his body turning numb. White Cloud Devil Master had launched another sneak attack. Ho! Of the 4 9th level cultivators, Shinyo finally commanded the entire combat formation to attack. Because the power of the combat formation had to be concentrated on one person before it could erupt with a 10th level power. Hence, he could only attack in sequence. If he attacked at the same time, the power would be greatly reduced. A great axe appeared in Qin Yo's hand as he hacked over. He was a close combat expert. Fortunately, the other two are slightly slower. Dongbo Shuiying let out a sigh of relief. He had long understood the 9th level devils and knew what techniques they specialized in. Some techniques could not be dodged at all. Like his illusory realm technique and the destruction flower in the past, they could directly descend upon him. He could not evade them and could only endure them. This time, one of the 4 9th level devils specialized in the ripple annihilation technique. It was also an instantaneous attack that could not be dodged. That thunderfire had some hope of evading, but its speed was too fast, and this fleshy body of his was too weak. Hence, he did not have the time to move and was struck. But the following two were slightly better. Hong. 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 Qin Yo commanded the combat formation and White Cloud Devil Master to engage in close combat. Their techniques were ever-changing and they could coordinate with each other, greatly increasing their threat. Nonetheless, Dongbo Shuiying's figure was incredibly elusive. Furthermore, when he brandished his spear, there were many strange void rivers revolving around his spear. His spear was like a river, borrowing the force of the other party to fight against the other party. Despite fighting 1 against 2, he was fighting to his heart's content. Restrain. Qin Yo retreated. It was a cold young man who commanded the combat formation. Hong. At that moment, a dark green snake condensed in an attempt to restrain Dongbo Shuiying. I must not be restrained. Dongbo Shuiying understood this point. The moment he was restrained, White Cloud Devil Master would devour him in a single gulp. That would be troublesome. The 4 experts in the combat formation had several killing moves of their own. At this moment, all of them were unleashing their peak 10th level power. They were coordinating with White Cloud Devil Master to kill Dongbo Shuiying. And in the southern cloud capital, within the residence of the Fan clan. This strength is unquestionably at the 10th level. Fan Tianchong looked at the heaven observation mirror while praising in his heart. He grasped a 10th level technique in just 1.5 billion years. Even though there were many experts in the realm Heart Great Land and many formidable cultivation techniques, and the disciples he nurtured were amazing, he could be considered an absolute genius. He might be slightly better amongst the geniuses in the Summer Wind Ancient Nation and Myriad Realms Ancient Nation, but in the Southern Cloud Nation, he was the most heaven-defying genius in history. He is indeed displaying the Scarlet Cloud combat technique. But I wonder how far he has comprehended it. Fan Tianchong thought. He did not cultivate the void lineage after all. It was hard for him to make an accurate judgment just by relying on the heaven observation mirror. He had also transmitted this news to the inner circle of the clan. Very soon, a piece of news came from within the clan. According to my deduction, that spear in the hand of Yingshan Snow Eagle should be the Scarlet Cloud magic spear that Scarlet Cloud Paragon Master used in the past. He should have comprehended the Scarlet Cloud magic spear and pondered over these killing techniques. Currently, he has already displayed the 4 great killing techniques of the Scarlet Cloud combat technique. Since he has comprehended 4 of them with his comprehension ability, he should have comprehended the 5th killing technique, the combination technique. Compared to the complete Scarlet Cloud combat technique, he is only lacking the Scarlet Cloud magic body. The Scarlet Cloud magic body was famous for being undying across myriad tribulations. But, he should have deduced his domain to the limit, reaching the 9th level power. By relying on the Scarlet Cloud magic spear, he could unleash the 10th level power. As for the other 3 great killing techniques, he could only reach the peak of the 9th level by relying on the Scarlet Cloud magic spear. With his comprehension ability, he should be able to comprehend the primal chaos realm portion of the 5 great killing techniques of the Scarlet Cloud combat technique, given sufficient time. That Scarlet Cloud magic spear is slightly wasted to him. Tianchong, try and see if you can buy the Scarlet Cloud magic spear from Yingshan Snow Eagle. Fan Tianchong pondered over the news transmitted from within the clan. The clan did not care too much about it, because in the entire realm Heart Great Land, it was still the cosmos gods who determined the foundation of a superpower. Hence, the most precious portion of the Scarlet Cloud combat technique was the cosmos god portion. Many cosmos gods did not have any formidable absolute arts and could only reach the 10th level strength. They were at the same level as White Cloud Devil Master and Dongbo Shuiying. Wanting to become stronger? It was too difficult to learn the cosmos god portion of a powerful absolute art. Cosmos gods would usually be forced to rely on a huge superpower like the 6 great ancient nations. From then on, they would fight for the 6 great ancient nations. Only then could they obtain the profound portion. Just like the cloud scripture of the 10 holy scriptures, It could be imparted to others, though it was limited to the 10th level. Wanting to become more profound? Go and fight for my myriad realms ancient nation. That was equivalent to selling yourself. The moment one joined, he would be restricted by various secret techniques, making it hard for him to betray the nation. It is a waste to give the Scarlet Cloud magic spear to this Yingshan Snow Eagle. Fan Tianchong thought, such a powerful secret treasure can be given to cosmos gods who cultivate the Scarlet Cloud combat technique. Summer Wind Ancient Nation. There were still a few cosmos gods who cultivated the Scarlet Cloud combat technique. Of course, there was only one who cultivated it to grand perfection and was not any weaker than Scarlet Cloud Paragon Master in the past. He was a sacred paragon from the Song clan, one of the 3 great clans in the Summer Wind Ancient Nation. Strictly speaking, this sacred paragon was slightly stronger than Scarlet Cloud Paragon Master in the past. After all, he had experienced 2 War of the Ancient Nations and currently he had many more absolute art secret techniques and survival techniques. That sacred paragon did not need the Scarlet Cloud magic spear because he had already refined a powerful secret treasure suitable for him. But there were still several other cosmos gods who needed it in the ancient nation. I have to get it, but I can't snatch it openly. Fan Tianchong pondered. After all, he has a 10th level strength and Southern Cloud King will definitely protect him. In the Southern Cloud Nation, there were 3 monarchs and 5 10th level conferred kings. These were the most important forces under the Southern Cloud King, and he was willing to protect them at all costs. He did not allow the Fan clan to snatch them away. If Dongbo Shuiying was a weak conferred marquis, the Fan clan could snatch him away stealthily. I have to think of a way. Fan Tianchong thought. Within the bamboo house surrounded by a stream, the violet-robed girl, Qian Yi Xiao, who was originally embroidering calmly stood there in a daze. The embroidery needle in her hand fell to the ground. What? Qian Yi Xiao did not dare believe it. 10th level strength? Qian Yi Xiao was startled. Her Qian Yi clan did not even have a 10th level strength in the Southern Cloud Nation. During crucial moments, they had to dispatch experts from the Moonflower Ancient Nation. 10th level strength. Across the entire Black Devil 4 nations and Black Devil Great Lake, they were absolute experts. Even old Mother Yingshan dared to fall out with her Qian Yi clan. How could ordinary primal chaos experts dare to do so? That Yingshan Snow Eagle? He is so strong? Qian Yi Xiao frowned. Currently the Yingshan clan had 2 10th level experts. In the future she would have to change her strategy when dealing with the Yingshan clan. As Dongbo Shuiying fought with White Cloud Devil Master and the 4 9th level experts in a combat formation, various parties were carefully determining the strength of Dongbo Shuiying according to the battle scene. No matter what, some of the surrounding nations understood that another 10th level expert had emerged. Chapter 1054. Black Devil Great Lake seemed to have the upper hand in attacking Dongbo Shuiying, yet they were feeling bitter in their hearts. Devil Master, he has been attacking me. That spear technique is too strange, and I have been injured by more than 50% of my body. A cold teenager transmitted anxiously. Who? The spear in Dongbo Shuiying's hand spun. It was like a flood dragon, distorting the surrounding void. The spear was like a god dragon that could only see its head but not its tail. At times, the spearhead would appear in front of a primal chaos devil. A spear pierced out. Even though the surface of his body was protected by the combat formation, there was a strange vortex that converged at the chest of this cold teenager. This revolving void maelstrom was actually formed from many void fragments that tunneled into this cold teenager. It was also madly revolving and cutting at his body. Even though his body was recovering, it still consumed a portion of his life force. What a strange spear technique. White Cloud Devil Master was anxious. Previously, when Xue Fu and the other 3 formed a combat formation, they were easily killed by this strange spear technique that penetrated through the formation and killed 3 weaker primal chaos devils. Who would have thought that now that there are 4 9th level primal chaos devils and their combat formation has been greatly strengthened, this spear technique of his could still permeate through and injure Yin Fu. Go. Dongbo Shuiying's figure was like a ghost. His spear spun and attacked time after time. With his void distortion technique, it was easy for him to escape. Why would he continue counterattacking despite being surrounded? It was because he wanted to force these devils to retreat. Otherwise, if he escaped, the devils would be able to slaughter and sacrifice as they wished. Old Devil Yin Fu has the weakest body amongst these 4 9th level primal chaos devils. I comprehended this piercing void, based on the Scarlet Cloud God Spear. Even though the combat formation is obstructing it, it has merely weakened 30% of its power. The remaining 70% is enough to injure old Devil Yin Fu. Dongbo Shuang thought, he won't be able to hold on for long. What a pity. According to the Scarlet Cloud God Spear, other than the Scarlet Cloud Domain, which could unleash a 10th level strength, the other techniques were at the peak of the 9th level. If this piercing void could reach the 10th level power, a single spear strike would likely heavily injure that old Devil Yin Fu. 3 spears would be sufficient to take his life. These old devils were probably going to escape soon. Dongbo Shuang did not care that the enemy was difficult to deal with. Instead, he treated this as a rare opportunity. After all, this kind of life and death battle was hard to come by, and it would be beneficial to his spear skills. Only when fighting could one comprehend the various profundities of spear techniques. More than 70% of my body is injured, old Devil Yin Fu transmitted his voice anxiously. I can't kill him. His domain is too difficult to deal with and his spear technique is too powerful. The other old demons were also anxious. They were also using all sorts of methods to coordinate with White Cloud Devil Master. They wanted to eliminate this Snow Eagle before old Devil Yin Fu could no longer hold on. Is it going to fail? White Cloud Demon Master looked at the ever-changing white rogue youth in front of him. He vaguely understood that if he couldn't win even with the help of the battle formation, then it would be even more impossible for him to win alone. Actually, once one's strength reached the 10th level, most of the time, it would be the other party who could not do anything to the other party. At this time it was time to compete in absolute arts. The more powerful the ultimate technique was, the more incredible the technique would be. Originally, seeing that this Snow Eagle has cultivated for a short period, I was bullying him for not perfecting his strength. Who would have thought that he would fail in the end? White Cloud Devil Master sighed inwardly. A single 10th level, Scarlet Cloud Domain, had allowed Dongbo Shuang to maintain an undefeatable position. Scarlet Cloud Paragon Master was famous for being unafraid of group battles, and his void domain. Naturally, it was logical. Naturally, there were secret techniques that could break apart the Scarlet Cloud Domain, though White Cloud Devil Master was not qualified to learn them. I can't hold on any longer. I'm not resisting anymore. Old Devil Yin Fu transmitted anxiously. All right. The other 3 devils did not object. White Cloud Devil Master even waved his hand, causing an enormous cloud hand to envelop the 4 of them. The 4 of them did not resist and were directly kept into the Eden treasure. Religious Master, what should we do? White Cloud Devil Master directly contacted the 3rd-ranked Religious Master in the Black Devil Great Lake, Blood Devil Religious Master. The Black Devil Great Lake was split into 3 great factions. The 3 Religious Masters were all terrifying great devils that shook the entire realm Heart Great Land. Even the 6 great ancient nations had a hard time getting rid of them. White Cloud Devil Master belonged to the same faction as Blood Devil Religious Master. This Yingshan Snow Eagle's control of the void is incredibly formidable. He can completely entangle my true body. I can send my incarnation down and massacre the people in all directions, but he can also send his incarnation to rapidly keep the civilians into his Eden treasure. Furthermore, that Marquis Ardent Fire and others will definitely be sent out to take in the civilians. Furthermore, more than half the Unity Realm team I led would likely be killed. If we retreat, that Yingshan Snow Eagle should know when to advance and retreat. He won't force us. White Cloud Devil Master asked the Religious Master. Because he could not control the blood sacrificial magic bottle at this moment, even if he massacred the civilians, it would only be for the sake of venting his anger. But because Snow Eagle's control of the void was more formidable, he could only massacre a small portion of the civilians in the city. Retreat. Blood Devil Religious Master gave the answer. Yes. White Cloud Devil Master immediately accepted the order. Retreat. With that order, he transmitted it to all his subordinates. Yes. The many teams of Unity Realm devils scattered across the Ardent Fire City immediately began teleporting away. These Unity Realm devils could teleport a shorter distance, and it was naturally slower for them to retreat. White Cloud Devil Master stopped. Dongbo Shuang also stopped. He held onto his spear as he stood on a piece of ruins. Yingshan Snow Eagle, who would have thought that the blood sacrifice I hosted this time would fail in your hands? White Cloud Devil Master chuckled. With a 10th level expert interfering, it isn't wrong for the blood sacrifice to fail. In history, the Black Devil Great Lake had massacred several cities time after time. As the number of times increased, they would occasionally meet with trouble. For instance, a 10th level expert would coincidentally stay in this city temporarily, or a cosmos god from the 6 great ancient nations would coincidentally pass by this city. For the sake of his reputation, he would not allow himself to lower his head and would naturally intervene. Hence, the blood sacrifice would occasionally fail. You are from the Black Devil 4 nations and I am from the Black Devil Great Lake. There will be opportunities for us to fight in the future. White Cloud Devil Master chuckled. Wah! His body abruptly dissipated. Following that, on the walls of the distant Ardent Fire City, many clouds condensed abruptly. The figure of White Cloud Devil Master appeared once again. Many Unity Realm devils were also gathering there. Dongbu Shuang watched from afar. By the side, the most important palace hall of the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace had also opened. Chen Yu Wei and the others walked out from within. They were watching from afar with some lingering fear. Fortunately, he did not go mad. Dongbu Shuang thought. If the other party were to vent his anger and massacre, close to half the civilians in the Ardent Fire City would die. Even though he could kill many Unity Realm devils, Dongbu Shuang did not like this outcome. Black Devil Great Lake within a grand palace. The 3 religious masters sat high above. Haha, third brother, the blood sacrifice you are in charge of has failed. The black-robed middle-aged male chuckled. Given their identities, they did not care about this bit of loss. After all, it was not too shameful for a 10th-level expert to interfere in the process. Third brother, your temper is quite good. You actually did not order your subordinates to massacre? The smiling old man on the left chuckled. Big brother, second brother. The sickly pale green-robed male indifferently chuckled. Since you have lost, there is no need for you to massacre. Third brother is benevolent. The black-robed middle-aged male said. He understood that the benevolence of his third brother was not directed at those cultivators. Instead, it was directed at those batches of Unity Realm devils. Even though the 3 religious masters were protective of their own, only then would their subordinates be willing to follow them. Of the 3 religious masters, Blood Devil Religious Master was the most protective of all. This Ying Shan Snow Eagle has such a formidable domain? His spear technique is formidable too. He could actually break the combat formation? Within this palace hall, the other cosmos gods and devil masters were discussing. Southern Cloud Nation within the royal palace. Southern Cloud King watched as the battle proceeded. He watched as the devils on the side of White Cloud King retreated. A grin blossomed on his face. Haha, the civilians of this ardent fire city should thank Ying Shan Snow Eagle. He has saved this city and brought honor to my Southern Cloud Nation. Chapter 1055. The Black Devil Great Lake failed in the blood sacrifice this time, and they had to leave with their tails between their legs. What a delightful feeling. Monarch Chunyu laughed. Monarch Greedy Peng was grinning from the side. Previously, Yingshan Shuiying has been in closed-door cultivation, so he didn't manage to collect enough precious materials. According to what teacher said, Yingshan Shuiying's Southern Cloud Sacred Body is merely at the 8th level standard, yet he could execute the Void Shatter. Clearly, he didn't rely on the energy of the Southern Cloud Sacred Body to grasp this 9th level technique. Instead, he had truly comprehended this technique. It seems that with his realm, it is possible for him to grasp the 2 secret importation techniques the moment his Southern Cloud Sacred Body reaches the 10th level grand perfection. Emin, right? Everyone present nodded. By relying on the Southern Cloud Sacred Body, it was 10 times easier to grasp techniques at the same level. This was also the reason why this absolute art was so widely spread. With the eyesight of Southern Cloud King, he was able to determine with a glance that Dongbu Shuiying's Southern Cloud Sacred Body was merely at the 8th level. For him to grasp the Void Shatter and Realm Heart Blade, without relying on the Sacred Body, the eyes of Southern Cloud King were filled with a strand of satisfaction. He praised. Furthermore, the Void Domain he executed should have been comprehended from that secret treasure god spear. Both of them could reach the 10th level strength. The Southern Cloud 12 Sacred Styles has detailed guidance, making it easier for him. The moment his sacred body reached grand perfection, he should be able to grasp the 2 secret importation techniques soon. Congratulations, teacher. Monarch Greedy Peng added, in the future I will have an amazing junior disciple brother. When the other monarchs and conferred kings present heard that, they muttered inwardly. This Monarch Greedy Peng's reaction was truly fast. Yingshan Snow Eagle is an absolute genius of the Void lineage. If he were to become the disciple of the king, it should be possible for him to become a cosmos god. In terms of the Void lineage, few could compare with the king in the entire Realm Heart Great Land. It is his fortune that Snow Eagle could become the disciple of the king. Congratulations, king. Many of them said. Even old Mother Ying Shan was congratulating by the side. They could see that Southern Cloud King was grinning from ear to ear. Clearly he was happy about this. Southern Cloud King chuckled, haha, a teacher chooses a disciple and the disciple chooses a teacher too. Even if I have the intention, I will have to see what Ying Shan Snow Eagle thinks. After all, this battle would most likely be known by the surrounding nations. Even the Summer Wind Ancient Nation would know about it, and it would be inevitable for them to take the initiative to recruit disciples. Old Mother Ying Shan understood in her heart. She immediately said, King, I'll go ask that child Snow Eagle and see what he thinks. Don't force yourself. Southern Cloud King said. After cultivating for 1.5 billion years, he had already reached the 10th level strength. Such an absolute genius expert could easily enter the core layer of any of the 6 great ancient nations and enter the biggest organizations in the 6 great ancient nations. The Black Devil 4 countries were most concerned about the Black Devil Great Lakes blood sacrifice. The Fiery Zhao Nation, the Maple Nest Nation, and the Snow Hook Nation were already watching from afar through the sky observation mirror. That Southern Cloud King is too lucky. Why doesn't my Snow Hook Nation produce a genius expert? It is highly possible to nurture one into the Cosmos God realm. By then we will have another helper. Snow Hook King sat cross-legged on a jade bed. There was an enormous pit at the center of the palace hall. Many venomous snakes and insects were currently devouring each other within. Snow Hook King would occasionally throw some rare natural treasures into the pit, causing the venomous creatures to become even crazier. Such a small place like the Southern Cloud Nation could produce such a genius expert? He reached the 10th level after cultivating for 1.5 billion years? In the Summer Wind Ancient Nation, other than the 3 great clans that had transcendental statuses, there were many other clans too. Many of these clans relied on the 3 great clans, and some of these clans were not any weaker than the entire Southern Cloud Nation. Naturally, they felt a sense of superiority when facing the Southern Cloud Nation. There were not many who could earn their respect. Usually, only those like old Mother Ying Shan who reached the 10th level could earn their respect. As for Southern Cloud King? After all, he was the sect master of one of the 10 great religions in the entire realm Heart Great Land. Many cultivators in the 6 great ancient nations worshipped Southern Cloud King. The appearance of Dongbu Shuiying this time naturally attracted the attention of many. This cultivation speed was qualified to be ranked in the top 20 in the history of the Summer Wind Ancient Nation. Ardent Fire City. Within the Marquisdom. Even though there were some deaths and injuries in the entire Marquisdom, this lineage had been reproduced for 1 trillion years, and there were trillions of disciples. Currently those who died were just a few. Only the loved ones and good friends of those who died felt sad. The atmosphere in the Marquisdom was incredibly lively. Many disciples were excited. They were excited about the stunning strength of Ying Shan Snow Eagle. I've heard that Prince Snow Eagle is about to become a conferred king. Conferred king? Isn't it a conferred marquis? Anyone who can get through the God Yuan Palace 9th level can become a conferred king. Prince Snow Eagle will definitely become a conferred king. Do you know who Prince Snow Eagle fought against previously? That is a devil master from the Black Devil Great Lake. Devil master? A devil master from the Black Devil Great Lake? Discussions were going on everywhere. Occasionally there would be cries of alarm. Devil masters were existences that were slightly knowledgeable in the Black Devil 4 nations. They had long heard of how frightening devil masters were. Any devil master could easily massacre an entire city and cause chaos in all directions. Many conferred marquises could be exterminated with a flip of a hand in front of a devil master. But Prince Snow Eagle could actually fight against a devil master? That was truly unfathomable. I have always set Prince Snow Eagle as my goal. But now this goal is too high. Many aristocratic clan disciples in the Ardent Fire City were unconvinced when Dongbu Shuiying was just born. They felt that so what if he was talented? They could still surpass him in cultivation. But now they no longer had such thoughts. When the gap between them reached an exaggerated stage, they would no longer be jealous. They would no longer have the heart to compare. They could only look up to the other party. Fighting against a devil master? Devil masters could fight against cosmos gods. Prince Snow Eagle could do that? Unfathomable. Unfathomable. There was a commotion outside. Dongbu Shuiying first accompanied his parents and sister to eat some food. They chatted for a while before going to the pavilion by the lake to meditate. Sitting under the pavilion with a spear placed on his knees, Dongbu Shuiying closed his eyes to reflect on this battle. Even though the outside world was bustling with activity, and it was said that many people came to send gifts. Even quite a few clans in the southern Cloud Nation came to congratulate Dongbo Shuiying on becoming a conferred king. Even though it had not been officially conferred, everyone knew that it was set in stone. Nevertheless, Dongbo Shuiying did not personally go to meet them. With his current strength and status, he was qualified to do so. The reason why he did not wish to meet them was because his mood wasn't good. This time, not just the marquisdom, but the citizens of the entire Ardent Fire City had suffered many casualties. Even though it was only 1,000th of the total population of the entire Ardent Fire City, thinking about how huge the population was, the number of deaths was still significant. After all, those teams of Unity Realm devils were able to kill groups of devils. Dongbo Shuiying wanted to kill those devil teams too. But if he did so, he might infuriate White Cloud Devil Master, causing him to start a mad massacre. Dongbo Shuiying suddenly felt something. He turned over. Very soon a figure appeared in midair. It was Old Mother Yingshan. Snow Eagle. Old Mother Yingshan laughed. Previously, she addressed him as Little Fellow Snow Eagle. But given his current strength, Old Mother Yingshan naturally removed the Little Fellow title. Old Ancestor. Dongbo Shuiying immediately stood. He was very respectful to Old Mother Yingshan. You have truly frightened me this time. Old Mother Yingshan chuckled. Me, the king, the 3 monarchs and several other conferred kings have been watching everything that happened in the Ardent Fire City through the Heaven Observation Mirror. We wanted to save them, yet it was impossible for us to do so. We could only worry. But when I saw you act, I was frightened too. It is all thanks to Old Ancestor buying that spearhead for me. Dongbo Shuiying said, otherwise I would not be the opponent of White Cloud Devil Master this time. Without the spearhead. Even though the inscriptions occupied 90% of the spear body, it was ultimately incomplete, and comprehending it would be much harder. It was impossible for him to raise the Scarlet Cloud domain to such a level. After all, he had only grasped this technique not long before he came out of closed-door cultivation. Worth it. It is truly worth it. Old Mother Yingshan said, that spear of yours is the weapon of Scarlet Cloud Paragon Master? Yes. Dongbo Shuiying nodded. That spear body lacks a spearhead. That time when I visited the treasured goods market in the capital, I had sensed it and discovered that spearhead. No wonder. Old Mother Yingshan was enlightened. She then added, oh right, the king has ordered that you will be officially conferred the title 3 days later. Amen? Dongbo Shuiying nodded. This was within his expectations. Also, the king has the intention of accepting you as a disciple. Old Mother Yingshan mentioned the most important matter. This is a personal disciple. The king has only accepted a total of 5 disciples. If you were to take him as your teacher, you would be the 6th disciple. This personal disciple is different. The moment you take him as your teacher, you will immediately be bestowed with all sorts of benefits. Dongbo Shuiying felt his heart stirring when he heard that. Southern Cloud King accepting a disciple? According to rumors, the Southern Cloud King would impart the Apex Survival Secret technique that was worth more than the complete Scarlet Cloud Combat technique, than Avatar technique. Chapter 1056. Avatar Technique. Dongbo Shuiying was looking forward to it. He could not give up on the Realm Heart Great Land. After all, there were many experts here and there were many absolute art scriptures too. Cultivating here would naturally be helpful. But after becoming a cosmos god, he wanted to return to his hometown Primal Chaos Void because he was afraid that something huge would happen there. To satisfy both sides, he could only leave behind an avatar in the Realm Heart Great Land and an avatar in the Primal Chaos Void. I guess that the fan clan from the Summer Wind Ancient Nation would take the initiative to invite you to join their fan clan. Old Mother Yingshan said. Fan clan. Dongbo Shuiying was startled. Amen. Old Mother Yingshan nodded. Of the 3 great clans in the Summer Wind Ancient Nation, the other 2 do not care about the external nations. Only the fan clan is willing to make friends with others and attract talented disciples to join their fan clan. Your innate talent is too high, reaching the 10th level in just 1.5 billion years. You are ranked in the front even in the history of the Summer Wind Ancient Nation. The fan clan will definitely come and invite you. Furthermore, the conditions they will give you are quite good too. You can decide who you want to join. Old Mother Yingshan said. I am an inner disciple of the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion. I can't join other superpowers, right? Dongbo Shuiying said. To ordinary inner disciples that is indeed the case. The moment they join another superpower, that would be equivalent to betraying the religion. They would be chased after by the Southern Cloud sacred religion. But if you join the Fan clan, things will be different. Old Mother Yingshan sighed. In the surrounding nations around the Summer Wind Ancient Nation, no matter if it is our Black Devil 4 nations or the 9 northern nations of the Summer Wind Ancient Nation, or even the other Tier 2 and 3 nations, even if they nurture a genius, the surrounding nations would not dare to say that the genius is betraying the religion when he joins the Fan clan. Neither would they dare to chase after the genius. Instead, they would have to congratulate the Fan clan. If you join the Fan clan, the king would have to congratulate the Fan clan too. Old Mother Yingshan sighed. The Fan clan is too powerful. Just the clan is stronger than any other ancient nation like the Moonflower Ancient Nation and Towering Sky Ancient Nation. Their foundation is deeper too. Dongbu Shuang nodded slightly. He could feel the might of the Fan clan. Even an absolute expert like the Southern Cloud King had to obediently lower his head. He did not dare to offend the other party. After all, he could survive under the pursuit of the Fan clan, but others in the entire Southern Cloud Nation could not resist against the Fan clan. Unless he could be like the Snowhook monarch who did not care about the life and death of his subordinates. Old ancestor, what do you mean? Dongbu Shuang looked at Old Mother Yingshan. Let me give you a suggestion. Old Mother Yingshan said, the king is even more generous. The moment you take him as a teacher and cultivate to the 10th level grand perfection of the Southern Cloud sacred body, he'll immediately bestow all sorts of precious materials to you. This was worth 2 billion universe crystals. Moreover, during the process of cultivation, the king will also be more attentive towards you. In terms of external matters, he will try his best to help you. As for the Fan clan, after all, it was one of the peak organizations in Realm Heart Great Land. It had strict internal rules. He had to pay the price. But as you grow stronger, the Fan clan will also pay more attention to you. If your ambition is to become an ordinary cosmos god, then the king will be of greater help to you. The king is after all the sect master of one of the 10 great religions. He has many treasures and is willing to spend them on you. If you wish to become an apex expert across the entire Realm Heart Great Land, to reach the level of the king, you must even create an ancient nation and reach an unparalleled realm. The Fan clan will be of greater help to you. After all, the Fan clan has a deeper foundation, and the 3 great clans in the Summer Wind Ancient Nation will also support one another. You can decide for yourself. Old Mother Yingshan said. Old Mother Yingshan felt slightly hesitant in her heart. If it was for the sake of the Yingshan clan, Dongbu Shuang would naturally take the king as his teacher. For the sake of standing at the apex of Realm Heart Great Land, it would be better for him to take the Fan clan as his teacher. But the king was wealthy, and he could give Dongbu Shuang some external help. This was also considered a form of help. Even if I join the Fan clan, it shouldn't be that helpful to me. Dongbu Shuang shook his head. According to what I know, there are only a few in the entire Fan clan who could fight against the king. Naturally. Old Mother Yingshan nodded. How hard is it to reach the level of the king? The Fan clan would at most give you some pointers and guide you with absolute art scriptures. Ultimately, you still have to rely on yourself. As for the king, he might not have any apex absolute art scriptures that are suitable for you. But he could give you some external help. Then I should still take the king as my teacher. Dongbu Shuang chuckled. Don't be in a rush to decide. Tell me your decision after you meet the people from the Fan clan. Old Mother Yingshan advised. After all, this concerns your future cultivation. Being a cultivator, you have to be prudent at this moment. Early the next morning. Was foggy. Fan Tianchong personally came to visit. Under the pavilion by the lake, the two sat facing each other. Brother Tianchong, please. Ah, this wine smells fragrant. It makes my muscles and bones feel comfortable. Younger brother Snow Eagle seems to be someone who loves wine. Fan Tianchong sat down cross-legged. He immediately poured himself a cup of wine and tasted it. Good wine. Even though I have never tasted it before, it seems that there aren't any precious materials within. But it feels so comfortable. Dongbu Shuang indeed loved good food and wine. He had to taste it whenever he traveled around the world. Naturally, he had collected many good wines. This wine isn't expensive. A single cosmos crystal can buy 10 flasks of wine. It's fine as long as it tastes good. Fan Tianchong chuckled. I have something to say too. I am here on the orders of my clan. That old ancestor of my clan has nodded his head and is willing to take you in as a disciple. Ancestor Fan? Dongbu Shuang felt his heart tightening. Ancestor Fan? He was one of the unparalleled existences in the entire Realm Heart Great Land. He could create an ancient nation by himself. All sorts of cultivation techniques he created were secret importation that would not be easily divulged to others. Even if one had 10 billion cosmos crystals, one could forget about getting a peek at it. He had 3 disciples who could fight against Southern Cloud King. For instance, Great Paragon Lu Tian was the disciple of Ancestor Fan. My clan's old ancestor has only accepted 15 disciples until now. Even I wasn't chosen by the old ancestor. Fan Tianchong sighed slightly. He was considered talented, but clearly Ancestor Fan had a high standard. If you become a disciple of my clan's old ancestor, you will be able to obtain a secret importation that is most suitable for you, allowing you to reach the peak. Fan Tianchong said. What about others? Dongbo Shuang asked. Others? Fan Tianchong was startled. He could not help but retort, didn't you hear it clearly? This is becoming a disciple of my clan's old ancestor. What else do you want? He has already bestowed you with a secret importation that leads you to the peak. As long as you cultivate according to the prescribed order, as you become stronger, my Fan clan will nurture you even more. In the future, it is not impossible for you to reach the same level as your Southern Cloud King. Is there an avatar technique? Dongbo Shuang asked again. Fan Tianchong's expression turned cold. Don't go overboard. The rules of my Fan clan is that the weak are food for the strong. Everything depends on yourself. It is already amazing for you to obtain a secret importation that leads you to the peak. You should know that some cosmos gods couldn't learn such a secret importation even if they sold themselves to my Fan clan. As for the avatar technique you mentioned, as long as you contribute to the Fan clan, you can naturally exchange it for a corresponding secret technique. My Fan clan also has an avatar technique that you can exchange for. I have to rely on contribution points to exchange for it. Dongbo Shuang softly nodded. Troublesome. The avatar technique was extremely valuable in any superpower. It required a lot of contribution points too. It wasn't that easy for him, a 10th level expert, to accumulate sufficient contribution points. Unless you don't have the slightest bit of confidence to compete? Fan Tianchong roared, there are many experts in my Fan clan. As long as you climb up and display your brilliance, you will naturally obtain all sorts of benefits. You haven't even taken me as your teacher yet you want this? The Fan clan was huge, but they could not casually squander it. Instead, it was the religion created by Southern Cloud King that became one of the top 10 great religions. Many cultivators across the entire Realm Heart Great Land joined the Southern Cloud sacred religion, paying a huge sum of cosmos crystals. Hence, Southern Cloud King was qualified to be extravagant. I am confident. Dongbo Shuang shook his head inwardly. Even though he was confident. According to the value of the avatar technique, with how many experts there were in the Fan clan, he would most likely have to become a cosmos god before he could accumulate sufficient contribution points. He could not afford to waste time. The moment he became a cosmos god, he would naturally have to send his avatar back to his hometown. It is good that you are confident. Fan Tianchong revealed a grin. When are you prepared to follow me to the Summer Wind Ancient Nation? The first time was even better. Chapter 1057. This matter cannot be delayed. You have to hurry and pay a visit to Old Ancestor. Fan Tianchong said. He then sighed, I've cultivated for so many years, yet I've only met Old Ancestor once. You are lucky to be able to meet Old Ancestor frequently in the future. I really do not know what Old Ancestor sees in you. Isn't it because your cultivation is faster? But you are merely at the 10th level. Primal Chaos 10th level existences were absolute overlords in those Tier 2 and Tier 3 nations. But to Ancestor Fan, who stood high above, it was too difficult for him to accept a disciple. Many cosmos gods wished to take him as their teacher, yet it was impossible. Firstly, it depended on the disciple, and secondly on his mood. If he did not like it, he would be too lazy to accept any talented cultivator. Even though I am confident, I am ultimately a citizen of the Southern Cloud Nation. Dongbo Shuang said, Old Ancestor has misplaced his love. Misplaced? Fan Tianchong widened his eyes. He did not expect this outcome. Do you understand? Do you understand who my old ancestor is? What does it mean to take him as your teacher? Fan Tianchong could not help but retort. Once you become the disciple of my old ancestor, you will be able to walk unhindered in the surrounding nations. Even that Southern Cloud King would not dare to slight you. Dongbo Shuang softly shook his head. I admit that Southern Cloud King is wealthy and has many treasures. He would most likely bestow quite a few to you. But those are external items. Fan Tianchong roared, treasures are easily obtained. Tao is something that cannot be obtained. Secret importation techniques that lead to the peak are absolutely not leaked out. Just like how Southern Cloud King was chased like a dog in the past, fleeing in all directions just to survive. Brother Tianchong, you are too much. Dongbo Shuang frowned. Fan Tianchong could not help but retort, all right, I am indeed too much. But your king was indeed fleeing in all directions in the past. Eventually he was fortunate enough to enter an ancient ruin and obtain the original copy of the Absolute Art Three Realms technique. He even obtained an extremely powerful secret treasure, the Twin Realm Blade. Only by relying on the Twin Realm Blade could he reach his current strength and status. Even though he obtained the Three Realms technique, that is a peak absolute art of the time lineage. You, Snow Eagle, are of the Void lineage and the Three Realms technique is completely useless to you. Do you know how precious a secret technique that leads to the peak is? Your king is lucky to have his current status. If you become my disciple, you will immediately obtain the most suitable secret technique for yourself. Fan Tianchong looked at Dongbo Shuang. Now that you've rejected him with my old ancestor's temper, it would be impossible for you to take him as your master in the future. I understand. Dongbo Shuang nodded. Fan Tianchong looked at Dongbo Shuang. Dongbo Shuang smiled, old ancestor, you're wrong. So, Fan Tianchong shook his head lightly. Anyway, I've said what I should say. I've treated you fairly, brother Snow Eagle. If you regret it in the future, don't blame me. Naturally, I don't blame brother Heaven Beloved. It's all my own decision, Dongbo Shuang said. Seriously, I really didn't know you? Fan Tianchong still couldn't help but mutter. Dongbo Shuang smiled calmly. Not paying respects to Ancestor Fan. The most important reason was because he wanted to learn the avatar technique as soon as possible. Once he became a cosmos god, he would send his avatar back. The other reason was because old Mother Shan had sent him that spearhead when he had just revealed his Unity Realm 6th level strength. Old Ancestor was ultimately a 10th level expert. She might have accumulated some treasures, but most would exchange them for weapons that were more suitable for her. Hence, 10th level experts could be considered rich and poor at the same time. Like Dongbo Shuang, he was very rich. A Scarlet Cloud God spear was worth close to 10 billion cosmos crystals. But he was not willing to sell this spear. Other than this spear, he had very few other treasures on him. Fortunately, he had killed Old Devil Xuefu and 3 other Primal Chaos experts, allowing him to accumulate some treasures. Otherwise he would still be poor. Hence, that spearhead was one of the reasons. Naturally, it was just a minor reason. If the Fan clan could directly bestow him with the avatar technique, even if Dongbo Shuang felt guilty towards his old mother, he would still be willing to join the Fan clan. By then he would use other methods to repay his old mother. It's a pity that the Fan clan was too cold and had strict rules. It was impossible for them to change their rules for a little fellow like him. In their opinion, it was already a huge favor for Ancestor Fan to be willing to accept him as a disciple. One had to know that the other 2 great clans in the Summer Wind Ancient Nation were disdainful of outsiders. Regardless of how talented you were, they would not accept you. They would only accept those from their own nation. Southern Cloud Nation Royal Palace. Southern Cloud King was currently seated cross-legged on a black grassland. The ground was filled with unique black weeds. Behind Southern Cloud King, there was a deep pool approximately 300 meters in size. The deep pool was filled with jade green water flowing about. The surface of the deep pool was suffused with white frost that drifted in the surroundings. Ancestor Fan is actually accepting a disciple? Southern Cloud King frowned. He had many treasures and befriended many places. He had many connections in the 6 great ancient nations. He had even spent a huge sum to befriend many people in the Summer Wind Ancient Nation, which was the closest to the Southern Cloud Nation. Ancestor Fan actually nodded his head and took the initiative to accept Snow Eagle as a disciple. This caused all sorts of discussions within the higher-ups of the Fan clan. They did not dare to retort against Ancestor Fan, and some of them reported this news to Southern Cloud King. A primal chaos brat. Even if he is talented, he is ultimately an outsider, yet Ancestor Fan actually took the initiative to accept him? Southern Cloud King felt slight disbelief. That group of apex experts in the Summer Wind Ancient Nation disdained the surrounding nations. Even though the Fan clan befriended many places, they still had a sense of superiority as they came from the Summer Wind Ancient Nation. Even those honored guests had joined the Fan clan. The Fan clan still discriminated against those honored guests. Ancestor Fan. Southern Cloud King became silent. He no longer had the confidence to accept Ancestor Fan as a disciple. King Fan Tianchong greets Snow Eagle. But Snow Eagle has still decided to take King as his teacher. Old Mother Ying Shan transmitted over to inform. She felt slightly unbalanced. After all, she had guessed that the Fan clan was recruiting Snow Eagle, yet not Ancestor Fan. Since Ying Shan Snow Eagle was determined to become a disciple of Southern Cloud King, she could not do anything about it. Southern Cloud King was slightly startled. This Ying Shan Snow Eagle worshipped him so much? He wanted to take him as his teacher? Was he too young and had not experienced too many setbacks? No matter what, it is a good thing. Southern Cloud King revealed a grin. Such a good helper would at least stay in the nation. Otherwise, the moment he entered the Fan clan, he would have to listen to the Fan clan's orders. I did not obstruct him. It is this brat Snow Eagle who isn't willing to join your Fan clan. A grin appeared on the edge of Southern Cloud King's lips. This news was rapidly transmitted back to the Fan clan. It was also reported upwards to that Ancestor Fan. Ancestor Fan was currently sitting cross-legged beside a stream in a vast wilderness. His appearance was different from the eyes of different people. Some saw Ancestor Fan as an absolutely beautiful and enchanting woman. Some saw Ancestor Fan as a dignified old man. Or perhaps he was an adorable infant or a towering stone giant that could cause the world to tremble with his breath, or a pure and holy compassionate being, all sorts of appearances. All of them came from the heart. Different hearts would see different things. Even in a place like the Realm Heart Great Land, he was an unparalleled existence who stood at the apex. He founded the Summer Wind Ancient Nation with 2 other old friends. He rejected. Ancestor Fan looked at the stream. The stream showed the scenes of Dongbu Shuang cultivating. It started from when he was a child, and everything was under the observation of Ancestor Fan. The strength he hid in the past was also seen through. Furthermore, Dongbu Shuang had cultivated the Tao of Mirage and Illusory Realm to the Primal Chaos Realm. Naturally, it was under the observation of Ancestor Fan. His cultivation is so fast. Currently, he has cultivated both the Void and the Mirage and Illusory Realm simultaneously. Ancestor Fan chuckled. This brat should be allowed by Yuan to reincarnate into an external origin world. Reincarnation. This wasn't a secret to people at Ancestor Fan's level. Like the strongest ancient nation of the 6 great ancient nations, the Myriad Realms Ancient Nation, it was slightly stronger than the Summer Wind Ancient Nation. Why was the Myriad Realms Ancient Nation named Myriad Realms? Because those few old fellows who created the Myriad Realms Ancient Nation had reincarnated from other origin worlds. In the beginning, some cultivators kept it a secret. But once their strength reached a certain stage, they could naturally publicize it. External origin world. He might have reached the Cosmos God realm in his previous life. For him to obtain the permission of Yuan, his talent is not bad. Ancestor Fan did not care. So be it if he rejected Dongbu Shuang. He was merely interested in this matter for a moment. It was because he was similarly concerned about those external nations and was willing to absorb experts from all over the world. That was why he had the heart to have a look. And with a look, he discovered how different Dongbu Shuang was. Since he rejected Dongbu Shuang, then it was fine. Ancestor Fan closed his eyes and threw this matter to the back of his mind. Reaching his level, accepting a disciple was purely based on his mood. The second watch had arrived. Chapter 1058. The Southern Cloud Nation was about to confer a new king. This was a huge matter for the entire nation. Many aristocratic marquis clans sent their higher-ups over to the capital. Even the conferred marquises and conferred kings either sent their true bodies or incarnations. On the day before the conferment. Let's go. We'll go meet the king. Old Mother Ying Shan and Dongbu Shuang sat on the carriage. There were a total of 9 black magic dragons pulling the carriage. Every magic dragon was a magic servant that could erupt with a 9th level power. They were much more valuable than magic servant Zibai. A total of 9 magic dragons were pulling the carriage. In the entire Southern Cloud Nation, only the king could afford to do so. After all, a single magic dragon was sufficient for a conferred king like Old Mother Ying Shan to sell all her treasures. Across the entire Realm Heart Great Land, she was ranked at the forefront in terms of wealth. The king personally sent a carriage to receive them. Dongbu Shuang and Old Mother Ying Shan soon arrived at the royal palace. They arrived at the place where the king usually meditated. Usually, only major matters would be received within the palace. For ordinary private matters, the Southern Cloud King would receive them at his meditation grounds. One could see that he treated Dongbu Shuiying as one of his own. Ho! The 9 magic dragons roared. They charged down before coming to a stop. Dongbu Shuiying and old mother Yingshan got off the carriage. The carriage immediately disappeared. The 9 magic dragons immediately swam away. They flew deep into the mountain peak behind Southern Cloud King that was shrouded in white frost. King. Dongbu Shuiying and old mother Yingshan respectfully greeted. This was the first time Dongbu Shuiying saw Southern Cloud King. Southern Cloud King was wearing a luxurious golden robe. He was thin and small as he sat cross-legged on the black grass. Even though he was thin and small, he vaguely seemed to be one with the surrounding void, causing others to feel subservient towards him. He is truly a legend amongst heroes. Dongbu Shuiying understood that an expert who did not come from the 6 great ancient nations could cultivate to this stage without any secret importation and relying on a powerful secret treasure. He even created a religion that became one of the top 10 great religions. His wealth was even spread across the entire realm Heart Great Land. Being so wealthy to this extent made even those old ancestors from the 6 great ancient nations envious. They had naturally acted against the Southern Cloud King before, albeit to no avail. They could only give up. Of the 10 great religions, 8 came from the 6 great ancient nations. One of them was the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion, and the other was the Sky Sword Sect, that was created by the Sky Sword King. That was why he could spread the Sky Sword Sect so wantonly. Even though it was slightly more than what the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion did, the Southern Cloud Sacred Sect, it was still being suppressed by the 2 great ancient nations. That was why the Sky Sword Sect could spread so wantonly. In terms of degree of spreading, it was slightly more formidable than the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion. Nonetheless, it was ultimately squeezed dry by the 2 great ancient nations. In terms of wealth, it could not compare with the Southern Cloud King. In the past, Cloud Heaven King could resist wave after wave of slaughter and stabilized his position. Over the long years, his foundation had become even more unfathomable. Naturally, he remained low profile and befriended others. His true strength remained a mystery. I'm curious, why did you choose me as your teacher and not Ancestor Fan? Southern Cloud King chuckled. At this moment, there were 5 other figures standing by his side. They were the other 5 disciples of Southern Cloud King. All of them were looking at Dongbu Shuiying. They were curious. Ancestor Fan was taking in a disciple? And this Yingshan Snow Eagle actually rejected him? I wish to learn the Avatar technique as soon as possible. Dongbu Shuiying directly stated. Avatar technique? Southern Cloud King softly nodded. The 5 senior disciple brothers and sisters by the side had different thoughts when they heard that. The Avatar technique is the apex survival secret technique across the entire realm Heart Great Land. It is indeed hard to learn. As for teachers, they would directly impart it to their disciples. He seems to have a cautious personality. Is he afraid of death? He would most likely die before becoming a cosmos god within the Fan clan and not learn the Avatar technique? They had different thoughts. But Southern Cloud King was merely curious. He did not care about Dongbu Shuiying's reason. He was not like Ancestor Fan who chose disciples based on his mood. Instead, Southern Cloud King hoped to get some formidable helpers. After all, not just stabilizing the Southern Cloud Nation or spreading the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion, they required formidable experts. All right. Southern Cloud King nodded. Kneel down. Yingshan Snow Eagle greets teacher. Dongbu Shuiying immediately knelt down and acknowledged the other party as his teacher. Those who reached the pinnacle would always have to rely on Southern Cloud King to guide him in his cultivation of the Void lineage. In the entire realm Heart Great Land, few could compare with Southern Cloud King in the Tao of Void. Naturally, he was qualified to be Shuiying's teacher. Southern Cloud King chuckled and nodded. My sect has very few rules. There is only one rule, and that is to never betray the religion. Previously, you were merely an inner disciple and had merely learned the Southern Cloud 12 sacred styles, secret importation. You know a lot about this absolute art, so it's not a big deal even if you join another faction. But now that you are my personal disciple, you cannot betray the sect. If you do, I'll not hesitate to pay any price to kill you. This disciple understands. Dongbu Shuiying answered. Who would Southern Cloud King kill? Even if he could not personally kill the other party given his wealth, he could easily invite unparalleled existences like Ancestor Fan to do so. All right. Southern Cloud King nodded. Flipping his right hand, 2 translucent scriptures appeared. These scriptures were covered in strands of golden light. Becoming my disciple, you can first learn the Avatar technique and the Destructive Realm Teleportation technique, these two survival techniques. Southern Cloud King said. The two scriptures floated in front of Dongbo Shuiying. The Destructive Realm Teleportation technique is a cultivation technique I created. As for this Avatar technique, it was originally created by me and perfected with the help of one of the 5 ancestors from the Myriad Realm's ancient nation, Drifter. Dongbo Shuiying received it. He extended his senses. At that moment, a large amount of light flew out from the scripture into the center of Dongbo Shuiying's eyebrows. Given the strength of his soul, he could easily memorize the 2 inheritances. Dongbo Shuiying was slightly startled. It was fine if it was the Destructive Realm Teleportation technique. In his previous life he already knew of ultra-long-distance teleportation. Actually, it was also the Destructive Realm Teleportation technique. Even though the Destructive Realm Teleportation technique was slightly different from the 2 origin worlds, the essence was the same. Shuiying just read it once and immediately learned it. And the Avatar technique was different from what he expected. This was an Avatar technique. Shuiying actually had to first master one of the 2 secret importation styles of the Southern Cloud 12 sacred styles, Arch Destruction. This style contained the strength of a 10th level expert. Only by mastering this style would Shuiying be able to break through the essence of the void of this origin world and interact with the higher dimension. After that, he would absorb the energy from the outside world to cultivate his soul. Only then would he be able to execute the Avatar technique. This should be different from the Avatar technique of Mount Chimei. Dongbo Shuiying thought. Mount Chimei was only at the 9th level strength, yet he had already mastered the Avatar technique. Clearly the 2 Avatar techniques were different. Southern Cloud King had mentioned that it was he who first created it, and it was perfected by one of the 5 ancestors from the Myriad Realm's ancient nation, Drifter. Different entry methods, yet I can similarly cultivate the Avatar technique. Dongbo Shuiying praised inwardly. In the Realm Heart Great Land, there are only a few who have inherited the Avatar technique. Southern Cloud King looked at Dongbo Shuiying. Even Cosmos gods wish to learn it, yet they have no way to do so. Even in the Fan clan, this is considered a top-notch secret technique. Southern Cloud King was slightly prideful. These are the materials required to cultivate the Southern Cloud 12 sacred body to the 10th level grand perfection. Southern Cloud King waved his hand again, throwing out a storage wristband. This was the norm. It was the same for every disciple. Properly cultivate. With your talent, you should be able to grasp the 2 secret importation styles of the Southern Cloud 12 sacred styles very quickly. Also, this demonic dragon is for you to ride on. Saying that, he waved his hand. Behind the deep lake, within the mountain range covered in frost energy, a black dragon flew out. It flew in front of Dongbo Shuiying obediently. Saying that, he threw a blood-colored crystal ball to Dongbo Shuiying. Dongbo Shuiying understood that this was the core that controlled the black dragon. Even though magic servant Zibai had followed him previously, in reality, his master was Old Mother Ying Shan. Magic dragon? Of the 5 disciples by the side, other than 2 who could maintain their calm, the other 3 had a slight change in expression. The previous bestowment was normal. Magic dragon. They were not bestowed anything when they took him as a teacher. This was an additional reward. A loyal and devoted magic dragon that could unleash strength at the 9th level was worth 1.5 billion cosmos crystals. How could they remain calm? The 3rd chapter. Chapter 1059. Thank you, Master. Dongbo Shuiying was surprised. However, he still bowed respectfully. By the side, a grin appeared on Old Mother Ying Shan's face. She felt that it was normal. Ying Shan's Snow Eagle was the most dazzling existence in the history of the Southern Cloud Nation. Even Ancestor Fan took the initiative to accept him as a disciple. Southern Cloud King nodded. He turned to the 5 disciples by the side and indifferently chuckled. These are your 5 senior disciple brothers and sisters. I believe you should know them. The personal disciples of the king were naturally influential characters in the Southern Cloud Nation. The weakest was a conferred king and they were all famous. Naturally Shuiying knew of them. Greetings, senior brothers and senior sisters. Dongbo Shuiying said. The 5 people in front of him. The eldest disciple brother was Monarch Greedy Peng, and was also one of the 3 monarchs of the Southern Cloud Nation. Monarch Greedy Peng had followed the Southern Cloud King even before the nation was founded. He was loyal and devoted. That time, Southern Cloud King was also in a miserable state. Naturally, he remembered the old relationship and was extremely diligent in guiding Monarch Greedy Peng. He even used all sorts of treasures on Monarch Greedy Peng, allowing Monarch Greedy Peng to break through from the primal chaos realm to the cosmos god realm. Second senior disciple brother, Gong Liang Yi, was at the 10th level. He was a rare Unity Realm 8th level genius from the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion. He was also a genius from the nation and had become the disciple of the Southern Cloud King. Senior sister Empress Ghostly was ranked 3rd. She was also at the 10th level, though she was slightly weaker than second senior brother. Fu Lingyun Fu Lingxiao. This pair of brothers were ranked 4th and 5th. That time when the Southern Cloud King was in dire straits, the strongest person by his side wasn't Monarch Greedy Peng. Instead, it was another relatively outstanding 10th level expert, Fu Qin. Fu Qin followed the Southern Cloud King wholeheartedly. His relationship with the Southern Cloud King was that of a subordinate and a brother. After Fu Qin died, Southern Cloud King began nurturing the 2 children left behind by Fu Qin. When these 2 children reached the primal chaos realm, he even took them in as personal disciples. He did not hesitate to spend many treasures on them. Nonetheless, the talents of these 2 brothers were ordinary. Even if they used many treasures, they were merely at the 9th level. From this point, it could be seen that Southern Cloud King still cherished old friendships. Junior apprentice brother. The 5 senior apprentice brothers and sisters all smiled. In front of their master they were all very warm and friendly. The next day. That was the day of the conferment. The title would be decided by him in advance, and he would just have to go through the motions when the time came. Most of them liked to use their own names as titles. He could even establish a clan and have his own name become the surname of the entire clan. When the time came, the title would be the name of the city and the name of the mansion. Therefore, some cultivators did not like to reveal their real names to the outside world. Therefore, Dongbo Shuiying gave himself a simple title, Fei Shue. This was also a fake name that he used before, and it was also the name of the spear that he used when he was still immortal. The entire Southern Cloud Nation was bustling with activity. The royal palace was filled with many kings and marquises. There were even experts from neighboring nations who came to congratulate the Southern Cloud Nation. Even though Dongbo Shuiying did not like being in a crowd, he still went to meet the monarchs and kings and marquises. This time there were quite a few cosmos gods who came from outside. As for the managers from some huge superpowers, there were even more. The 6 great ancient nations all had a few branches here. They were all families of some sort and their origins were quite great. But cultivators still valued strength. Those who were not strong would have a low status within the great clans. Unless they were like the Crown Prince, who was the first child of the Southern Cloud King and was doted on. After the conferment, the Southern Cloud Nation began constructing the city, Feishue City. It became the city of Dongbo Shuiying. After all, every confirming king would own a city. And being the 6th 10th level expert in the Southern Cloud Nation, his city was exceptionally big, on the same level as Yingshan City. Even if a large number of cultivators were sent to construct it, it would still take more than 100 million years. After all, the most difficult part of such a huge city was the construction of all sorts of arrays. In terms of the strength of the arrays, the moment Dongbo Shuiying guarded the place and augmented by the arrays, ordinary cosmos gods would be beaten up by Dongbo Shuiying. Before the construction of the city was completed, Dongbo Shuiying would temporarily stay in the capital. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, it had been 300 million years since the conferment. Southern Cloud Nation, Feishue City. The Feishue City had been constructed for a long time. Dongbo Shuiying had also brought some people from the Ardent Fire Marquisdom over. They were mainly elites under the lineage of his father, Yingshan Laihu. They came over to help manage the Feishue City. Dongbo Shuiying did not have the leisure to manage a city. Other than the Feishue City, he constructed another 9 cities. They were all guarded by the sleeping incarnations of Dongbo Shuiying. Ha ha ha. Yingshan Laihu's days were more interesting. A huge city like the Feishue City involved huge benefits. And the affairs of this city master of Dongbo Shuiying were usually handled by Rong Xinglan and Yingshan Laihu. Yingshan Laihu was naturally enjoying the limelight. Within a large-scale void god pagoda, Dongbo Shuiying was currently cultivating within. He sat cross-legged on a huge rock floating in midair within the void god pagoda. His body was ordinary and did not emit any aura of an expert. This was the state of the 10th level grand perfection realm of the Southern Cloud Sacred Body. One had to know that even at the 10th level grand perfection realm, he had not reached the pinnacle in the voidification aspect. Reaching the pinnacle of voidification would allow one to become one with the essence of the void and completely disappear. Even powerful cosmos gods could not sense the slightest aura. Even though his aura was ordinary and reserved in terms of voidification, he was still quite far from reaching the pinnacle of voidification. After all, the voidification undying technique of his teacher, Southern Cloud King, could only be cultivated after he became a cosmos god. At the primal chaos realm there was no hope at all. I still have to create it myself. Dongbu Shuang did not give up. He had seen the scaled armor of the destruction devil General Mo Gu, who had the shadowless talent. The inscriptions on that scaled armor were formed naturally. They were simple and mystical. Dongbu Shuang felt that it was entirely possible for him to cultivate it at the primal chaos realm. It's just that it was difficult to create it. Naturally, his current thoughts were not on the voidification aspect. Instead, it was the Southern Cloud 12 sacred styles. Hong. With a thought, Dongbu Shuang's body faintly emitted a faint light. Many deity inscriptions lit up on his body. This body of his was truly the darling of the void. He had fused deeper with the void than the void walker in his previous life. Relying on the Southern Cloud sacred body, Dongbu Shuang finally succeeded in unleashing this fist. Hong. This ferocious fist was incomparably heavy. It seemed to bring along the entire void energy as it smashed out. Ka. He could not hear any sound at all. That was purely relying on the void to sense it. Dongbu Shuang was able to sense that 3 of the smallest black fog spherical particles that formed the essence of the void had directly shattered apart. At this moment, the place where the fist blasted out was vaguely horrifying. It felt as if it was connected to another horrifying world. Because the crack was too small, it could not be seen with the naked eye. But there was still a strand of mysterious aura transmitted in through the crack. Closely following that, the crack formed when the 3 spherical particles shattered immediately healed. That world. Dongbu Shuang saw it. This was the first time he saw it with such clarity. The arch destruction had blasted apart the cage of this origin world. Even though the crack was so small that it could not be seen with the naked eye, Dongbu Shuang relied on that tiny crack to see it. By relying on the mysterious aura emitted from that crack, I can cultivate the avatar technique. Only then did Dongbu Shuang react. Nevertheless, he had been in a daze for a long time. That strand of mysterious aura had already dissipated. Chapter 1060. Standing on the floating rock, the surface of his body was faintly covered in light. He stabbed out with the scarlet cloud god spear in his hand. This stab seemed ordinary, yet it carried with it the power of the entire void. Eventually, it even caused the essence of the void to shatter, causing tiny cracks to appear where the spear had stabbed. It was indeed the weapon of Scarlet Cloud Paragon Master in the past. This stab caused the cracks to become several times bigger than before. It was too difficult to break the essence of the void and break the cage. Even Void Primogenitor, from the Primal Chaos Void, could not do it. Many cosmos gods could not do it. It was not just about power. Instead, one had to find the right direction. Just like the Avatar technique, one could learn it at the Primal Chaos realm just by finding the right direction. Like Mount Chimay, it was like that. If one did not have any clues, even Sacred Master or Old Monster Stone could not create an Avatar technique. It was the same for Arch Destruction. This was an extremely exquisite usage of the Tao of Void. It was using the entire space around where one attacked. At the same time, when that space could not withstand the force, it would eventually cause the essence of the void to collapse. Arch Destruction was a 10th level technique. Actually, it was a simplified move from the same Tao path, and it was a 9th level technique, Void Shatter. Once it was simplified and weakened, it would be an 8th level technique, Smoke and Dust Scatter. Similar logic. Spectacular Painting was also a secret importation technique, and was a 10th level technique. When it was simplified, it would be a 9th level technique, Realm Heart Blade. The Southern Cloud 12 Sacred Styles. In reality, it was mainly based on 2 paths to go deeper. Spectacular Painting and Arch Destruction were originally Cosmos God techniques. In terms of profoundness, they had surpassed any self-created moves by Dongbu Shuang in his previous life. He could only barely execute them by relying on the 10th level Grand Perfection Southern Cloud Sacred Body. And these 2 techniques could still be deepened to become stronger, though only Cosmos gods could learn them. The direction is right. A 10th level technique can break the cage. Dongbu Shuang relied on the tiny cracks formed by the shattering of the black fog spheres to look at the outside world. This look of his was also a strand of consciousness permeating in. The realm Heart Great Land was vast. Dongbo Shuiying saw an incomparably huge piece of land, and he also saw that there were many stars orbiting around the land. Furthermore, he could vaguely see another huge origin world beyond this realm Heart Great Land, origin world that was incredibly far away. Another source world? Dongbo Shuiying softly nodded. Other than the primal chaos void and realm Heart Great Land, there are other origin worlds. But Yuan actually allowed the absolute geniuses in the primal chaos void to reincarnate into the realm Heart Great Land. It seems the realm Heart Great Land should have a deep foundation among the many origin worlds. Dongbo Shuiying thought. He performed Skybreaker again and again and watched it again and again. Although he was shocked every time he looked at it, he was obsessed with the feeling of stepping into another level of life. However, he understood that he was still a life in the confinement, and he could only barely open a small crack. Many strands of mysterious aura permeated into the origin world from a higher dimension. Dongbo Shuiying immediately activated the avatar technique. This technique was actually a soul secret technique. It immediately began attracting those strands of mysterious aura towards his soul. They were absorbed by his soul and gradually fused into his soul under the guidance of the secret technique. At this moment, Dongbo Shuiying felt his soul trembling. His soul was undergoing a transformation, though he vaguely understood that this was a good transformation. His body and the void seemed to be more compatible and comfortable. It felt as if he was born to be a part of the void. Because the crack was too small and the mysterious aura that permeated in was weak, Dongbo Shuiying merely cultivated for 10 days before he felt his soul could no longer improve. Hua! The white-robed Dongbo Shuiying, who was seated cross-legged on the huge rock, suddenly had a blurred figure fly out from the surface of his body. He landed by the side and sat cross-legged. That figure was madly absorbing the world energy before condensing into a golden-robed Dongbo Shuiying. Success! The two Dongbo Shuiying exchanged glances. Even though they were two bodies, their memories were completely the same. But the newly condensed body was just an ordinary fleshy body. Without the Southern Cloud Sacred Body and the Scarlet Cloud God Spear, it was impossible for him to execute 10th level techniques. My soul has absorbed too little mysterious aura, and the transformation isn't significant. Under the suppression of the Supreme Law, I can only form an avatar. Dongbo Shuiying thought. He understood that the reason why he could not execute the avatar technique was purely due to the Supreme Law. But absorbing the mysterious aura outside the cage could allow his soul to evolve. This evolution was different from other life forms in the origin world. If not for absorbing the mysterious aura, even cosmos gods could not form avatars. And as this transformation improved, the number of avatars could increase too. The two avatars looked at each other. The golden-robed avatar was slightly weaker. According to Dongbo Shuiying's plan, he would not go out to fight and kill. Hence, he left the remnant energy of the Realm Heart Order in the soul of the golden-robed avatar. After all, splitting the soul into two meant that the Realm Heart Order could only choose one avatar. Even though the white-robed avatar was stronger, he was ultimately adventuring outside. Who knew when he would die? Cultivation knew no time. On one hand, Dongbo Shuiying was researching the Tao of Void. He had already grasped the two secret importation techniques. Naturally, he was comprehending the profound mysteries within the Scarlet Cloud God Spear, and deducing the voidification. He had always wanted to reach the pinnacle of voidification at the primal chaos realm. By researching on different aspects of the void, it would naturally be helpful for him to step into the cosmos god realm. On the other hand, he spent more than half his time cultivating the mirage and illusory realm. He had already reached the primal chaos realm in the mirage and illusory realm, and he was still improving. In his previous life, his realm was sufficiently high. Hence, he did not encounter any bottlenecks. He continued cultivating until he finally created a 9th level mirage and illusory realm technique. He was still stumbling in the Tao of Void. After all, even though he had accumulated a deep foundation in his previous life, he could not create a 9th level technique. Even though the mirage and illusory realm was slow at the start, it became faster as he cultivated until he created a 9th level illusory realm world in one go. He had also researched through the 18 mirage and illusory realm scriptures he got, allowing his soul to be 3 to 4 times stronger than ordinary peak primal chaos realm experts. This was also a benefit that only cultivators who cultivated the Tao of Soul had. And the mirage and illusory realm was also a soul aspect. Under ordinary circumstances, this is the limit at the primal chaos realm. Dongbo Shuiying thought. Unless I have a 10th level secret technique or a powerful secret treasure of the mirage and illusory realm. Dongbua Shuang pondered. It was different from other Dao paths. The Dao of Soul was rarely seen. Like in the primal chaos void, Dongbua Shuang was the first to reach the primal chaos realm in the laws and profound mystery system in the mirage and illusory realm. Even including the ancient cultivators, there was not a single cosmos god expert in the mirage and illusory realm. This Dao path was clearly harder to cultivate as compared to water, fire, lightning, particles, space, and many other Dao paths that one could sense. The mirage and illusory realm was purely a reconstruction of a world. It was akin to creating a new world, and its difficulty was incredibly high. Even the realm heart great land, which had a deeper foundation. Any 10th level mirage and illusory realm secret technique was a secret importation that would never be divulged to outsiders. Its preciousness was not any less than other secret importation techniques that led straight to the peak. Chapter 1061. The reason why it was so precious was because there were very few cosmos gods who cultivated the mirage and illusory realm. The other reason was that secret techniques in the Tao of Soul were too frightening. For example, the mirage and illusory realm. What did a 10th level illusory realm represent? One had to know that a large number of 10th level experts including Dongbua Shuang and Old Mother Ying Shan relied on external forces to reach their current level. For instance, by relying on the Southern Cloud Sacred Body or the Scarlet Cloud God Spear, he could at most unleash the power of the 9th level at the Primal Chaos realm. He had to rely on external items to unleash the power of the 10th level. The strength of their souls was about the same as the 9th level experts of the Primal Chaos Void. There were very few of them. For example, Dongbua Shuang and others who had great achievements in the Tao of Soul, their souls would far surpass those of the same level. Otherwise, the strength of his soul would be limited. Even devouring the essence of chaotic origin, or essence of blood spirit, would not be as helpful to the soul as Dongbua Shuang, who had reached the pinnacle of primal chaos realm in the Tao of Soul. The essence of chaotic origin was an extremely powerful existence that could condense the essence energy within an origin world. It was similar to the origin world rock. Blood spirit essence. For example, the Black Devil Great Lakes blood sacrifice was for this purpose. It involved slaughtering countless lives and harvesting the most basic strand of energy from the souls of countless lives. After refining and transforming it, it finally condensed into blood spirit essence. Consuming it would greatly benefit one's soul. But the prices were extravagant. But the 9th level illusory realm world was sufficient to greatly affect many experts at the pinnacle of primal chaos realm. The majority of them could only unleash 40% to 50% of their strength. Those with slightly weaker heart temperaments would likely fall into the illusory realm. As for the 10th level illusion, it was even more terrifying. Even Old Mother Ying Shan and the other experts with strong heart temperament could not resist against this illusory realm that could only be executed by cosmos gods. They could rely on treasures to reach the 10th level, but it did not mean that their souls could resist against this illusory realm. One could say that an absolute majority of 10th level experts would die before the 10th level illusory realm. They would either fall into oblivion or struggle to maintain a strand of consciousness, yet they no longer had the strength to resist. This was a heaven-defying move. Once the illusion appeared, either his soul was strong enough to withstand it. Otherwise, if he couldn't take it, he would be done for, his life and death in the hands of others. 10th level experts were able to move unhindered across a region in the realm heart great land. Even when facing cosmos gods, most could easily escape if they could not defeat them. But when faced with a terrifying technique of the soul path, it was defeated just like that. Therefore, this mirage and illusory realm secret technique was definitely a core secret technique of an area. Fortunately, firstly, those who could cultivate the mirage and illusory realm to the pinnacle and grasp the 10th level illusory realm at the primal chaos realm were too few. Currently, the entire realm heart great land could be counted with one's fingers. Secondly, 10th level secret importations were only possessed by the three great organizations. They were respectively the Summer Wind Ancient Nation, Primogenitor Ancient Nation, and Towering Sky Ancient Nation. One had to know that of the 6 great ancient countries, even the Myriad Realms Ancient Country, which was the strongest, did not have a 10th level mirage and illusory realm secret technique. One could imagine the difficulty of obtaining it. Third, a mirage and illusory realm secret treasure. Other than the 3 great ancient nations, this was the only method for a primal chaos expert to unleash the 10th level of the illusory realm. This was also the reason why the Mirage and Illusory Realm secret treasures were so expensive. A Mirage and Illusory Realm secret treasure that was only at the 10th level and was useless to Cosmos gods would cost at least 10 billion Cosmos crystals. It was comparable to a secret treasure weapon used by a great expert like Scarlet Cloud Paragon Master. If it were a Mirage and Illusory Realm secret treasure that was greatly beneficial to Cosmos gods, its price would be even more exaggerated. Furthermore, it was extremely difficult to comprehend the secret treasure and research absolute arts. Only those with heaven-defying talent like Dongbua Shuiying had hope of obtaining it. Even so, the price was exorbitant. My realm is sufficient, but I lack a secret treasure, Dongbua Shuiying thought. The apex secret importation in the Mirage and Illusory Realm? That was impossible. Even the strongest ancient nation like the Myriad Realms ancient nation could not obtain it. It was impossible for the other three great ancient nations to spread it out. Unless he, Dongbua Shuiying, joined one of the three great organizations, it was impossible for him to learn it. Being one of the 6 personal disciples of the Southern Cloud sacred religion, the status of Dongbua Shuiying was naturally high. Through the intelligence network that the Southern Cloud sacred religion had spread across the entire Realm Heart Great Land, he was able to gather information regarding the Mirage and Illusory Realm secret treasures that were publicly sold. There was only a single Mirage and Illusory Realm secret treasure that was greatly beneficial to Cosmos gods, the Heart Devil Scepter. It was left behind by a Mirage and Illusory Realm Cosmos god, Heart Devil Religious Master, after his death. His price was unknown. He had to negotiate with the seller first. Secondly, they were all 10th level Mirage and Illusory Realm secret treasures. There were a total of 8 of them, and their prices ranged from 12 billion Cosmos crystals to 20 billion Cosmos crystals. There are so few Mirage and Illusory Realm secret treasures. Dongbua Shuiying sighed inwardly. These were treasures that were being sold by the 6 great ancient nations and more than 100 nations. But because there were very few that required 10th level Mirage and Illusory Realm secret treasures, Dongbua Shuiying was not worried that he could not buy any Mirage and Illusory Realm secret treasures. The only problem was, could he afford it? Borrowing Cosmos crystals from his teacher? Southern Cloud King was wealthy, and he was willing to spend on his disciples. But 10 billion Cosmos crystals? Dongbua Shuiying did not dare to ask for so much. Over the years of cultivation, even though Shuiying had some vague understanding of the Cosmos God realm, in the Mirage and Illusory Realm and Tao of Void, it was clearly difficult to take this step. Snow Eagle, hurry up and come see me, Southern Cloud King summoned. At that moment, Dongbua Shuiying brought along the magic dragon and left Feishua City for the capital. Within the royal palace, in the meditation ground of Southern Cloud King, he remained seated cross-legged on the black grass. Behind him there was a misty white pond. At this moment, there was a tall and thin middle-aged man standing by the side. Teacher. Dongbua Shuiying came and greeted respectfully. Have you succeeded in cultivating the 2 secret importation techniques? Southern Cloud King asked. I've succeeded, Dongbua Shuiying answered. What about the avatar technique? I've succeeded too. Good. Southern Cloud King softly nodded. I have a mission for you. Once you complete it, I'll give you 20,000 contribution points. Dongbua Shuiying listened attentively. 20,000 contribution points? That was very high. Within the Southern Cloud sacred religion, personal disciples did not have to exchange for the void lineage absolute art scriptures with contribution points. As long as one cultivated an absolute art scripture to the pinnacle of primal chaos realm, he could then choose the next one. Without grasping it completely, one could not be greedy. And for absolute art scriptures that were not of the void lineage, one had to exchange for them. They only required 1/10 of the contribution points. For instance, the 3 realms technique required 500,000 contribution points for an inner disciple, and 50,000 contribution points for a personal disciple. Actually, there was no need for those who primarily cultivated the Tao of Void to exchange for other absolute art scriptures. There was another use for contribution points, and that was to exchange for all sorts of rare treasures. Similarly, personal disciples could exchange for 1/10 of the price with his teacher. 20,000 contribution points could be exchanged for 2 billion Cosmos crystals worth of rare treasures. It was just enough for his newly refined golden-robed avatar to cultivate the Southern Cloud sacred body to the 10th level grand perfection. In the fiery Zhao nation currently, the Sky Sword sect is spreading their influence wantonly and suppressing my Southern Cloud sacred religion. Southern Cloud King said, The Black Devil Four Nations have always been the core region of my Southern Cloud sacred religion. The Sky Sword sect has always been weak here, but now they are coming with such momentum. The Fiery Zhao Nation is the most chaotic nation among the Black Devil Four Nations. That is also the reason why the Sky Sword sect chose to spread their influence there. That place lacks an expert to protect it. You should go over and help, Marquis Chu Ming. Hopefully you can suppress the Sky Sword sect as soon as possible. We can't allow them to be so unbridled in the Black Devil Four Nations. The 10 Great Religions. The other 8 came from the 6 Great Ancient Nations. Their influence within the ancient nations was formidable, and they did not attach much importance to some of the smaller nations. Only the Sky Sword sect, and Southern Cloud sacred religion, were fighting fiercely for the sake of spreading their influence. Furthermore, the Southern Cloud sacred religion was still suffering from a disadvantage overall. Because the Sky Sword sect had the faint support of the Myriad Realms Ancient Nation, and Summer Wind Ancient Nation. But no matter what, in the Black Devil Four Nations, that was the most fundamental place for the Southern Cloud sacred religion to spread. Since the Sky Sword sect dared to spread their influence here, Southern Cloud King would naturally not tolerate it. Heading to the Fiery Zhao Nation? Dongbu Shuang was enlightened. He continued writing the 3rd chapter. Chapter 1062. Teacher, will the Sky Sword sect send over Cosmos gods? Dongbu Shuang asked. Don't worry. Southern Cloud King chuckled. The competition between religions is also a competition of reputation. Our Southern Cloud sacred religion is stronger amongst primal chaos experts. Naturally, many cultivators would feel that it is more suitable to join our Southern Cloud sacred religion. In such a battle, if a Cosmos god were to bully a primal chaos expert, even if he won, it did not represent how powerful his religion was. If I lose, it will be even more humiliating. Dongbu Shuang understood. Fame was very important to the spread of a sect. Therefore, the experts who guarded it were extremely important. Even though there were many experts in the Southern Cloud sacred religion, other than those from the Southern Cloud sacred religion, there were many experts from other nations. But the Realm Heart Great Land was too big. Naturally, they had their own priorities when overseeing the various places. The Black Devil Four Nations have always been the place where our Southern Cloud sacred religion spread its influence. Even though the Sky Sword sect had spread their influence here previously, they didn't have much influence and didn't send any formidable experts. Hence, the experts of my Southern Cloud sacred religion have always been stationed in other regions to expand the influence of the Southern Cloud sacred religion. Southern Cloud King said, who would have thought that they would actually enter the Fiery Zhao Nation of the Black Devil Four Nations? Since they dared to come, I must teach them a good lesson. Can it be killed? Dongbu Shuang asked. Go ahead. Southern Cloud King said, but you have to be careful too. On the surface, those who came to find trouble with you are definitely experts from the Sky Sword sect. But in the dark, there might be some experts from the Myriad Realms Ancient Nation and Summer Wind Ancient Nation dealing against you. Of course, there will definitely not be any Cosmos gods appearing. The moment one does, it would be a violation of the rules and I will act directly. Yes. Dongbu Shuang was relieved. What kind of status did the master have? He was a legend across the entire Realm Heart Great Land. Being the religion master, it was impossible for him to act casually. Otherwise it would be too demeaning. After all, when a primal chaos expert came to bully them, the sovereign had to act. If many cultivators saw it, they would only think that the Southern Cloud sacred religion did not have anyone capable, and that the primal chaos experts they nurtured were too weak. Instead, if a Cosmos god dared to act, Southern Cloud King would directly act. Marquis Chu Ming will arrange the details. What you need to do is to act at the crucial moment. Southern Cloud King turned to the tall and thin middle-aged man by the side. Chu Ming, you and Snow Eagle can discuss some other trivial matters in detail during the journey. Yes, Marquis Chu Ming said respectfully. Snow Eagle, since you've successfully refined your doppelganger, you should temporarily stay in the capital. This is the safest place in the entire Southern Cloud Nation. No matter who acts, I am confident of protecting your life. Southern Cloud King was relatively confident. In other places, he could only escape when facing unparalleled existences like Ancestor Fan. However, in the capital that he had built for countless years and used countless treasures, he was not afraid of anyone in a one-on-one fight. Yes. Dongbu Shuang nodded. There was no need to worry about the safety of Feishua City. Because the Feishua City was a huge city. Even the Black Devil Great Lake blood sacrifice would not be held in such a huge city. This was something the Southern Cloud King would absolutely not allow. Whoever dared to act, the Southern Cloud King would most likely send an avatar over. Although he had reached a compromise with the Black Devil Lake, it was only for a small city. Furthermore, it was something that only happened once in a long time. Dongbo Shuang brought along his magic dragon and Marquis Chu Ming as they set off. They first relied on the destructive realm teleportation technique to arrive at the wilderness outside the fiery Zhao capital. Even though the fiery Zhao nation might be chaotic and weak, this is ultimately the capital of the fiery Zhao nation. If we were to use the destructive realm teleportation technique to enter, the fiery Zhao nation would definitely discover us immediately. That would bring about some trouble. Marquis Chu Ming explained. Dongbo Shuang nodded. In the primal chaos void where the arrays were weaker, his previous religion, the Great Void Heaven Temple, could easily detect the entry and exit of the destructive realm teleportation technique. Much less the fiery Zhao nation. The two of them flew together. His magic dragon obediently followed behind as they flew towards the city gates. Marquis Chu Ming, you should arrange everything beforehand. Dongbo Shuang said, I don't know much about spreading the religion. Rest assured. If I really need Brother Fei Shue to do something, I'll naturally arrange it beforehand. As for usual, everything would be up to one's heart. As long as it could increase the reputation of my Southern Cloud sacred religion, it would be good. Furthermore, it would be good for us to reveal techniques and strength that would strike fear in many cultivators. They would also be more willing to join the Southern Cloud sacred religion. Marquis Chu Ming said. Dongbo Shuang was enlightened. It would be good if they did not embarrass the Southern Cloud sacred religion. Increasing their reputation would be even better. That was simple too. The two of them entered the capital of the fiery Zhao nation side by side. Amen? The moment Dongbo Shuang entered, he could sense some remnant bloody and slaughter aura with his void senses. The fiery Zhao nation is in reality the weakest. Many devils from the Black Devil Great Lake live here. Marquis Chu Ming explained, even in the capital there are frequent massacres. As long as one escapes fast enough and isn't discovered by the army, it would be fine. Those with slightly greater backgrounds can be killed, and the army wouldn't pursue the matter even if they discovered it. Naturally, many devils from the Black Devil Great Lake live here, and they don't wish for things to be too chaotic. Naturally, they would restrict their subordinates. Overall, this is considered the most stable city in the entire fiery Zhao nation. But precisely because of the chaos, many cultivators here desire to become stronger. Marquis Chu Ming chuckled. Dongbo Shuang nodded. Just like how many experts had bloodlines in his body, there were many experts in the realm Heart Great Land. Over the years, even some of the weaker descendants of cosmos gods would become commoners. Many marriages would occur, causing many commoners to have formidable bloodlines. It's just that they were extremely thin. Their bloodline cultivators were able to cultivate the void Dao and other common Dao paths as well. At this moment, it depended on the attractiveness of the religion. The sacred palace of the Southern Cloud sacred religion located in the fiery Zhao nation capital was the biggest in the entire fiery Zhao nation. After all, the capital was also the biggest city, and it had the highest population, close to half of the entire nation. This sacred palace occupied a huge area and was relatively domineering. Nevertheless, at this moment, Southern Cloud sacred religion, do you all only know how to hide inside? You are so frightened when facing my Sky Sword sect. How pitiful. Outside the Southern Cloud sacred palace, there was a group of 10 cultivators cursing. Their voices were grand and reverberated in the surrounding world. As for the Southern Cloud sacred palace, it had activated its arrays. Many arrays were protecting it and none of them dared to come out. Why is the Southern Cloud sacred palace closed? I still want to seek guidance from my teacher. A young cultivator watched from afar in a daze. There were many spectators watching from the side. An old man added, don't go. As long as you are from the Southern Cloud sacred religion, you will have to enter to cultivate. If you are discovered by those from the Sky Sword sect, you will be sentenced to death. What? Sentenced to death? This young cultivator was startled. Quite a few have died. Initially, some disciples did not know and wanted to enter to cultivate, yet they were killed by those experts from the Sky Sword sect. The old man added. Unless the Southern Cloud sacred religion is just going to endure this? What else can they do? Can't you see that the entire sacred palace is closed? The arrays have been activated and they are guarding it to death? The old man sneered. This is simply too cowardly. The young man felt sullen. We are being bullied by the Sky Sword sect in the Black Devil Four Nations. Is it because the Southern Cloud sacred religion can no longer hold on? I have to spend cosmos crystals before I could cultivate in the Southern Cloud sacred religion. The news spread across the entire realm Heart Great Land. These disciples were all outer disciples. After joining, they would immediately slip away and go to other sections. This was very normal. As for outer disciples, the various great religions could only take the initiative to attract them. The experts from the Sky Sword sect are formidable. I should return to the Sky Sword sect and have a look. Who knows, I might become stronger by cultivating there. Discussions were going on everywhere. The fiery Zhao nation was chaotic. The weak were prey to the strong. Seeing the Southern Cloud sacred religion being bullied and forced to close their sacred palace, they would naturally feel that they were not strong enough. It was fine if it was a short period. But if it dragged on, the influence would worsen. From afar, Dongbua Shuiying brought his servant Magic Dragon and Marquis Chu Ming over. They seemed casual, but in reality they were incredibly fast. With a single step they had already arrived. Yes. Of the group of experts from the Sky Sword sect, the others were at the Unity Realm. The leading one was a 9th-level expert, Chang Su Wang. He had cultivated the secret importation of the Sky Sword sect, the Sky Sword Undying Body, to the 10th-level grand perfection. That was why he dared to bring people over to scold others. As for matters like scolding others, it was sufficient for 9th-level experts to appear. The stronger experts behind him disdained to do such trivial matters. This white-robed young man? Chang Su Wang immediately recognized him. He is that Ying Shan Snow Eagle? Even though Chang Su Wang was startled, he was not afraid. The reason why the Sky Sword sect could spread so far was because the Sky Sword Undying Body was incredibly formidable. Even Cosmos gods had a hard time killing them, much less this Ying Shan Snow Eagle. Are you the personal disciple of Southern Cloud King, Ying Shan Snow Eagle? Chang Su Wang announced. That group of Unity Realm experts from the Sky Sword sect naturally stood behind him. Ying Shan Snow Eagle? Southern Cloud King's personal disciple. Is he that Ying Shan Snow Eagle who reached the 10th level in 1.5 billion years? The one who fought against White Cloud Devil Master with his full strength, Snow Eagle? Discussions broke out in the distance. Ying Shan Snow Eagle was quite famous in the Black Devil Four Nations. You better listen up. This is the fiery Zhao nation. It is best for your Southern Cloud sacred religion to obediently retreat. Otherwise, it won't be just the previous matter of killing some ordinary disciples. Chang Su Wang announced. His voice reverberated in the surroundings. Let us leave. Saying that, he immediately left. He was clear that he was not the opponent of Ying Shan Snow Eagle. But he was confident of leaving. Leave? Dongbua Shuiying coldly snorted. His voice caused an explosion in the mind of Chang Su Wang. For a moment he was engulfed by the illusory realm. Even though he was a 9th-level expert, he had relied on the Sky Sword Undying Body to barely reach this stage. His soul was merely at the 8th level in the primal chaos void. Facing the illusory realm unleashed by Dongbua Shuiying, he fell for it in an instant. Without any resistance, Dongbua Shuiying destroyed Chang Su Wang's soul with a thought, causing him to die. His illusory realm technique was showing its true prowess. Naturally, it was only effective when facing experts who relied on external forces to reach the 9th-level strength. If he were to face a 10th-level expert, his illusory realm technique would no longer be sufficient. Saying it was slow, yet everything happened in an instant. Chang Su Wang shouted, "Let us leave." That group of Unity Realm experts from the Sky Sword sect were prepared to be brought away. Following that, Dongbua Shuiying used the illusory realm to kill Chang Su Wang. At the moment he killed him, he waved his hand. Who? Dongbua Shuiying's palm emitted a faint light. His palm was like a sparkling white jade. One could see the void ahead being torn apart, causing Chang Su Wang and his subordinates to become flattened. One could see the space ahead turning into a scroll. A scroll flew to where Dongbua Shuiying was. Within the scroll were Chang Su Wang and his subordinates. All of them were in a daze, yet they did not have any aura. Clearly they had died and became part of the scroll. If Chang Su Wang's soul was intact, given his Sky Sword Undying Body, he would not die even if he was suppressed within. He could even struggle and escape. Nonetheless, he had died before he was suppressed. Quite a few treasures flew out from this scroll and landed in the hands of Dongbua Shuiying. Hang it on the outer wall of my Southern Cloud Sacred Palace. Dongbua Shuiying took this scroll and passed it to the dumbfounded Marquis Chu Ming. Good, good. Marquis Chu-Ming nodded. His eyes were wide open as he looked at the scroll in front of him. Too formidable. Too powerful. Remember, use the array to protect it and hang it on the wall. Since the Sky Sword sect dared to act presumptuously in my Southern Cloud sacred religion, this is the outcome. Dongbo Shuang said. With the protection of the array, not even 10th level experts could destroy it and take the scroll away. This scroll would be hung here forever. Illusory Realm Technique. In addition, the Southern Cloud 12 Sacred Styles Secret Importation. Spectacular painting. The third watch was over. If you are satisfied, please vote for a monthly ticket. Chapter 1063. After Dongbo Shuang finished giving his orders, he brought his magic dragon and headed towards the front door of the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace. Why aren't you opening the door? Marquis Chu-Ming shouted out. Hung long long, the two towering doors opened with a boom. Actually, everything that happened outside could be seen clearly by the experts within the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace of the fiery Zhao Nation capital. It's just that they were shocked by how a 9th level expert like Chang Su Wang and his group of subordinates turned into a painting. Chang Su Wang was someone who had cultivated the Sky Sword Undying Body to the 10th level Grand Perfection realm. Even Cosmos gods would have to spend more effort to kill him. One move, an instant, and he turned into a painting? The doors opened with a rumble. A group of experts from the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace stood by the entrance. They were led by two primal chaos experts. Several hundred of them bowed in unison. Senior Disciple Brother Snow Eagle. The rules of the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion. All outer disciples had to address inner disciples as Senior Disciple Brother or Senior Sister. And inner disciples were one level lower than personal disciples, and had to address them as Senior Disciple Brother or Senior Sister. Amen. Dongbo Shuang nodded in acknowledgement. He then brought his servant inside. Brother Chun-Chi, why aren't you arranging a residence for Brother Snow Eagle? Marquis Chu-Ming shouted out. Yes, yes. The leading dark-skinned primal chaos male naturally acknowledged. Senior Disciple Brother Snow Eagle, please follow me. There were many disciples present, and even many cultivators who were paying attention to this place from afar. No matter if they were ordinary spectators or some experts from the fiery Zhao Nation royal family who wanted to watch the battle between the two great religions, or the great devils from the Black Devil Great Lake, when they saw that white-robed young man who was surrounded by all the disciples from the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion, all of them felt a chill in their hearts. What a good Shan Snow Eagle. He is indeed an expert who reached the 10th level in 1.5 billion years and could fight against White Cloud Devil Master. After becoming a disciple of Southern Cloud King for so many years, he has become even more frightening. In a restaurant a few million kilometers away from this place, an old primal chaos devil was drinking and eating by himself while watching the battle from afar. He knew that the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion would definitely retaliate against the Sky Sword sect. Therefore he came to take a look. When he saw Dongbo Shuang he was surprised. But when he saw Chang Su Wang and the other experts turned into paintings with a single move of picturesque and hung them on the wall, he was shocked. Spectacular painting, one of the two secret importation techniques of the Southern Cloud 12 Sacred Styles, a 10th level technique. However, it definitely can't suppress Chang Su Wang. This primal chaos old man faintly felt a chill in his heart. Chang Su Wang is finished without me noticing anything? Scary, scary. It's even more terrifying than during the blood sacrifice. Shan Snow Eagle is this powerful? The experts of the fiery Zhao Kingdom's royal family were terrified as they watched. Although the fiery Zhao Kingdom was the most chaotic of the Black Demon Four nations, it was precisely because of the chaos and slaughter that the experts who rose to power here were even crazier. Which one of them did not rise to power through slaughter? Of the 10 great religions, the Sky Sword sect and the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion were about to fight, and they were naturally happy to watch the show. It's just that this Shan Snow Eagle was too savage. It seemed like his technique was simple and easy, but the more it was so, the more it made those experts watching in the dark feel fear. Hang it more conspicuously. Right here. In order to hang this painting, Marquis Chu-Ming spent quite a while. It was clearly a very simple matter, but he purposely went through a lot of trouble. He even specially inlaid it. There was even a simple spirit design operating on the inlaid frame, causing this painting to constantly emit light. It was very eye-catching. The two of you guard this place. Watch carefully. Marquis Chu-Ming arranged two more subordinates. Actually, There were arrays covering the outer wall of the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace that protected this painting. There was no need to worry. Marquis Chu Ming did this to slap the face of the Sky Sword sect. The battle between both parties was incredibly savage. On the surface, they dared to block the entrance and kill some of the outer disciples of the other party. But in the dark, they were even more sinister. After all, to Southern Cloud King and Sky Sword King, who stood high above, the two great religions could provide them with an endless stream of cosmos crystals. Cosmos crystals represented resources, and they naturally could not give up. What? He turned into a painting? Really? That is a primal chaos expert. As Marquis Chu Ming hung up the painting, he returned to the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace. At that moment, many spectators rushed over. Quite a few experts even teleported over. They looked at that painting in astonishment. Much less them. As the news spread, several aristocratic marquis disciples from the fiery Zhao nation came rushing over in their carriages. They were all watching from afar, clicking their tongues in admiration. After all, Chang Su Wang was relatively famous in the Sky Sword sect. He had contributed greatly to the propagation of the Sky Sword sect. Such an amazing character had turned into a painting and hung there. Is it that Ying Shan Snow Eagle? The Southern Cloud 12 Sacred Styles secret importation, spectacular painting, shouldn't be so formidable, right? How could he kill Chang Su Wang so easily? Discussions were going on everywhere. There were even some aristocratic marquis disciples and some brothels who were bragging about it. They had some background and most of them knew about the two secret importation styles, Arch Destruction and Spectacular Painting. They were all bragging about it, but in reality most of them were at the Unity realm. Some were even ordinary void gods. The weaker these cultivators were, the more they loved to talk about those legendary existences. Clearly Dongbua Shuiying was an absolute expert in the legends to them. More than 50 million kilometers away from the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace. Two figures stood in midair looking in the direction of the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace. One of them was a cold violet-robed male with a layer of frost covering his face. By his side an enchanting red-haired girl muttered, "Master." What a Ying Shan Snow Eagle. The eyes of the violet-robed male flashed with cold light. It is rumored that Ancestor Fan wants to take him in as a disciple. He is indeed quite skilled. He, Thunder King Mo Chao, was the organizer of this invasion by the Sky Sword sect into the Black Devil Four Nations. He was only an inner disciple of the Sky Sword sect, yet his status was higher than personal disciples because he was one of the two Dao protectors of the Sky Sword sect. His teacher was even more mysterious. Even though it was not publicized, the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion vaguely deduced that the teacher of this Thunder King Mo Chao from the Sky Sword Nation should be a terrifying existence from the Myriad Realms ancient nation. "Master, what should we do?" The enchanting girl by the side asked in a low voice. "Should we ask the two special envoys for help?" This invasion into the Black Devil Four Nations was very important to the Sky Sword sect. Hence, the Myriad Realms Ancient Nation and Summer Wind Ancient Nation both sent an ultra-strong expert to help out in the dark. After all, these two great ancient nations had been earning huge profits from the Sky Sword sect, over a long period, and they would definitely help out during crucial moments. The two of them? This Ying Shan Snow Eagle killed Chang Su Wang with a flip of his hand. I can't even see through what technique he used. The violet-robed male sneered. It is impossible for the two great ancient nations to spend so much effort before they understand the background of Ying Shan Snow Eagle. Even though they were backed by the two great ancient nations, the experts from the Sky Sword sect still felt resentment towards the two great ancient nations. After all, they had risked their lives to spread the religion, yet the majority of the cosmos crystals they earned were taken away by the two great ancient nations. They even put on airs in front of them and they had to endure it. How could they not feel sullen? How could they not feel resentment? But they had no choice. How could they afford to offend the two great ancient nations? Southern Cloud King, it is fine if you don't act. But the moment you act, you are so powerful. It seems we'll have to spend more effort in the future. The violet-robed male Mo Chao frowned. But he did not know. Southern Cloud King did not know that his disciple was so formidable. Furthermore, when the news of what happened in the fiery Zhao nation was transmitted back, Southern Cloud King was slightly startled. Southern Cloud Capital, in the meditation ground of the royal palace. This brat Snow Eagle is so formidable? Southern Cloud King was incredibly startled. There were 3 black-robed men standing by his side. One of them said with a low voice, "King, do the 3 of us still need to set off?" This time, the Sky Sword sect is coming with a torrential momentum. It isn't easy to deal with them. I originally wanted to make use of this opportunity to polish Snow Eagle, but who would have thought that I have underestimated this disciple of mine? Southern Cloud King chuckled. Currently he is doing very well in the fiery Zhao nation. Then let him continue. The three of you, have a rest first. Wait until things are more troublesome before the three of you set off. Withdraw for now. Yes. The three black-robed men acknowledged in unison. Following that, the fog dissipated and the three of them disappeared. The deep eyes of Southern Cloud King were filled with curiosity. Given how wealthy he was, the strength he had was absolutely not what he displayed on the surface. The 6 great ancient nations wanted to snatch benefits from him, yet he could resist for so many years. Naturally, he had something to rely on. Asterisk, he was too busy during the New Year's Day. Star. Chapter 1064. Southern Cloud King sat there. His gaze penetrated through the endless void and landed outside the fiery Zhao nation's Southern Cloud Sacred Palace. One could see many scenes flitting past his eyes. One of them was the scene where Dongbua Shuiying acted against Chang Su Wang. Actually, Dongbua Shuiying's strength could affect time-space. Especially after his soul absorbed the mysterious aura from the higher dimensional world outside the realm Heart Great Land, his soul had transformed. Even many tracking techniques could not trace the whereabouts of Dongbua Shuiying. Like in the past when the avatar of Mount Chai-Mei hid, Sacred Master could not find it. It was only Old Monster Stone, who had unique techniques that allowed him to find the avatar of Mount Chai-Mei. Given Southern Cloud King's strength, it was impossible for him to track down Dongbua Shuiying. But he knew where that battle happened beforehand. Hence, he could just observe that place and observe everything that happened previously. Strange. What technique did he use to deal with Chang Su Wang stealthily without leaving behind any traces? Southern Cloud King thought. If it were other combat techniques, the disturbance would be huge. But the illusory realm targeted the soul and did not cause any disturbance at all. Is it a soul-related technique? Or some unique secret treasure? Southern Cloud King guessed. He then chuckled. No matter what, it was good for a disciple to be more powerful. It was inevitable for powerful cultivators to have their own secrets. Southern Cloud King would not delve into it. The foundation of the Sky Sword sect is slightly weaker than my Southern Cloud sacred religion. But with the 2 great ancient nations aiding them in the dark, my Southern Cloud sacred religion is at a disadvantage in many battles. This disciple of mine is much more formidable than I expected. Southern Cloud King was looking forward to it. Just like how the 2 great ancient nations sent experts to help the Sky Sword sect in the dark, this was shady. For instance, if a mysterious expert from the Myriad Realms ancient nation appeared publicly and defeated Dongbua Shuiying, what would that signify? That mysterious expert was not a disciple of the Sky Sword sect. Even if he won, it did not represent that the absolute art from the Sky Sword sect was more formidable. Hence, only when the disciples of the 2 great religions competed could it prove who was stronger. Dongbua Shuiying was the personal disciple of Southern Cloud King. His victory, especially with his void technique, proved how powerful the Southern Cloud sacred religion was. This caused many cultivators to think, Yingshan Snow Eagle has joined the Southern Cloud sacred religion, and his techniques are so formidable. It is definitely not wrong for me to join the Southern Cloud sacred religion. It is sufficient for me to learn some superficial knowledge from them. The more geniuses and experts a sect had, the more attractive it would be. Fiery Zhao Nation within the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace. Dongbua Shuiying had already dismissed his attendants and was cultivating alone. Hoo. However, there was the sound of wind whistling in the completely sealed hall. A white-robed youth was sitting cross-legged on a cattail hassock. Above him, there were already 3 beams of light that covered half of the sky. One of the beams of light was a stretch of black chaos. It was extremely heavy and even space itself seemed to be frozen. The other ray of light was illusory and indistinct. The last ray of light was the surging void wave. The sound of the wind in the surroundings was vaguely the 4th streak of light forming. Like silk, like fog, they gathered into threads and dispersed into mist. What was condensed and dispersed was the void. The void was directly compressed into threads, or split apart into pieces. It seemed to be broken yet not truly broken. This move is always lacking by a bit. Dongbua Shuiying sat there with a frown. The 4th light that he was working hard to condense dissipated. South, Dongbua Shuiying, who was seated cross-legged, suddenly moved. He teleported to midair. Nevertheless, his body abruptly flattened into a piece of art. He sat cross-legged within this piece of art. Following that, this piece of art dissipated like fog. The body of Dongbo Shuiying that was seated suddenly flashed before dispersing into hundreds of bodies. All of them were seated cross-legged. 5 phases, 5 phases. This fog phase is always lacking by a bit. The hundreds of seated Dongbo Shuiying muttered. All right. The eyes of the hundreds of Dongbo Shuiying brightened at the same time. This time it felt perfect. He was filled with confidence. With a thought, the fourth light formed above him. This fourth light was truly like silk or fog. It switched between the two naturally, and the void state was as natural as flowing water. If it was used to restrain others, it could easily cut the enemy into pieces. Similarly, it could shroud and bind the enemy when it became fog. Aha, on my first day in the fiery Zhao Nation, I have already grasped the fog phase. This fiery Zhao Nation is truly a blessed land for me. Dongbo Shuiying could not help but laugh. The Tao of Void. Before becoming a disciple of Southern Cloud King, Shuiying had been researching the Southern Cloud 12 sacred styles and the Scarlet Cloud God Spear. He had practically reached the pinnacle of primal chaos realm in these two directions. For the sake of becoming a cosmos god, he would naturally continue researching on different directions of the void. The more he researched, the greater the chances of him becoming a cosmos god. Hence, not long after becoming the disciple of Southern Cloud King, Shuiying used the fact that he had completely grasped the destructive realm teleportation technique and chose another void-related absolute art from the Southern Cloud sacred religion. The 5 phases sealing technique. 5 phases sealing technique. This was the strongest void absolute art that the Southern Cloud sacred religion had. That's right, the strongest. Even though there were still 3 realms technique, avatar technique, and great destruction realm teleportation technique above this absolute art, 3 realms technique was a time-related absolute art. However, the 3 realms technique was a time-type ultimate art, while the cloning technique was only a life-saving technique. It was precious because it was rare and important to protect one's life. The Great Destruction Realm Teleportation Technique was even a heaven-defying movement technique. Relying on this technique, one could travel from one origin world to another. But the difficulty of cultivating it was extremely high. Only when one became a Cosmos God in the Tao of Void and reached the 2nd level of Cosmos God would one be qualified to cultivate it. Furthermore, the chances of succeeding in cultivating it were not high. Dongbo Shuiying was not qualified to cultivate it at all. It was different from the previous 2 techniques, survival and movement. That 5 phases sealing technique was a direct combat absolute art. Furthermore, it was an extremely horrifying combat absolute art. 5 phases sealing technique. The 5 different Tao paths of the void were also known as the 5 phases. They were respectively Sky Phase, Earth Phase, Violent Phase, Mist Phase, and Origin Phase. They were 5 different forms of the void and different Tao paths. Of the 5 phases, reaching small success in any phase would allow one to reach the 9th level. If one succeeded in cultivating all 5 phases, they could complement each other. The 5 phases sealing technique would allow one to unleash 5 different 9th level techniques at the same time. Once all 5 great techniques were fused into one, it would become incredibly violent. It was much more frightening than the Southern Cloud 12 sacred styles. Even some of the other secret importation techniques of the Southern Cloud King could not compare to it. It was unquestionably the strongest absolute art of the Southern Cloud sacred religion, and also the hardest to cultivate. This was not the most brutal technique. It was very difficult for a person to master a 9th level technique. There were 5 different Tao paths of the void, and every Tao path required one to grasp a 9th level technique. The difficulty was even more frightening. The moment one succeeded, the Southern Cloud King would directly bestow the precious secret treasure, the 5 phases beads. By relying on the 5 phases beads, one could unleash a 10th level power in 5 different 9th level techniques. The 10th level technique could even perfectly fuse 5 different techniques together. That was when the technique was unleashed. By then, the 5 phases sealing technique could even seal the destructive realm teleportation technique. Those who were slightly weaker would be easily imprisoned or crushed to death. An ultra-tyrannical absolute art. It was also hard to cultivate. After all, there were 5 different Tao paths. Actually, the more heaven-defying the absolute art, the harsher the difficulty. For instance, the difficulty of cultivating the 3 realms technique was beyond that of the 5 phases sealing technique. Those who cultivated that absolute art had turned into a madman and even committed suicide. But after cultivating it, the terror of the three realms technique was beyond that of the 5 phases sealing technique. Ever since I took him as my teacher, I have currently grasped 4 phases of the 5 phases sealing technique. Dongbo Shuang thought. Fortunately, his accumulations were deep. In his previous life he had researched on different aspects of the void, and in this life he had also researched on the Southern Cloud 12 sacred styles and the Scarlet Cloud lineage. I'm just lacking the final phase, the origin phase. Dongbo Shuang pondered. His gaze was looking at the void in front of him. The void was continuously magnified in his eyes. Eventually he could see the essence of the void, layers of black fog spherical bodies forming a membrane wall. The origin phase. I have seen its origin phase in my previous life. In this life I have even used the arch destruction to break the cage and grasp the avatar technique. But my understanding of it is still too shallow. Dongbo Shuang thought. Chapter 1065. Fortunately, I only need small success and not large success or grand perfection. Dongbo Shuang thought. This absolute art was split into 3 levels: small success, large success and grand perfection. Dongbo Shuang had spent quite a lot of effort on the 5 phases sealing technique, especially after creating the 9th level technique in the illusory realm. Most of his effort was spent on the Tao of Void. His accumulations were deep. The Heaven phase was the Tao that the Void primogenitor walked in his previous life. The Void Walker lineage were absolute darlings of the Void. Even though his teacher Guqi had not comprehended the destructive realm teleportation technique, he could still perform ultra-long distance great teleportation. Even from a great distance he could still forcefully control a huge piece of the Void. His control over the Void had reached an exaggerated stage. The Heaven phase was precisely this kind of large-scale control over the Void. The Earth phase was a completely different path. It was something that materialized. But Shuang had once walked in the Lost World Corridor for 1 trillion years. He had always been observing the structure of the Lost World Corridor. The Void had materialized into many ancient void trees, and they had even given birth to eggs, giving birth to many destruction devils. He comprehended for 1 trillion years, and his foundation in this aspect was deep. Thus he cultivated the Earth phase relatively quickly. The Violent phase was similar to the Scarlet Cloud combat technique in many aspects. They were on the same path. Currently, Dongbo Shuiying's Scarlet Cloud combat technique had reached the pinnacle of Primal Chaos realm, and he could no longer improve further. When the conditions were right, success would naturally follow. The Mist phase was slightly more troublesome. It was similar to the spectacular painting of the Southern Cloud 12 sacred styles. The Origin phase was the only one that he had yet to cultivate. Actually, once Dongbo Shuiying cultivated it to this stage, he was just a strand away from becoming a cosmos god. At this stage, the number of Tao paths he could take in the Tao of Void could be counted with 2 hands. Hence, the 5 phases included the majority of Tao paths in the Tao of Void. Fiery Zhao Nation. The Sky Sword sect occupied a huge area. Within a residence. The 2 of you, my Sky Sword sect has suffered a huge loss. A conferred king has died there. Thunder King Mo Chao, who was dressed in a purple robe, was sitting cross-legged. His gaze swept across the other 2 sitting beside him. Of the 2, one had dark red skin and a curved horn on his head. He was eating all kinds of strange metals and stones in big mouthfuls. To him, metals and stones were food. The other was even stranger. His entire body was shrouded in a black robe, and the inside of the black robe was filled with black mist. There were some insects flying in the black mist, and his eyes were formed by the gathering of some red insects. These 2 were the 2 special envoys. That person who was eating those bizarre metal rocks was from the Fan clan that came from the Summer Wind Ancient Nation. Of the 3 terrifying great clans in the Summer Wind Ancient Nation, only the Fan clan paid attention to the outside world. The other 2 great clans were too lazy to care about the outside world. The expert shrouded in black robes was from the Myriad Realms Ancient Kingdom. I went to see that painting earlier. The black-robed expert's voice was hoarse and deep. Your Sky Sword Kingdom's Chang Su Wang has really turned into a painting. Picturesque indeed. Similarly, a conferred king from the Sky Sword Kingdom, Thunder King Mo Chao, could not help but feel frustrated. Picturesque can't reach this stage. It might be a soul technique or some unique secret treasure. The crimson-skinned expert casually said. He continued eating the metal rocks with J-bang sounds, If you ask me, you should have sent a 10th level expert from your Sky Sword Kingdom to fight him. I don't believe that 10th level expert could not figure out his foundation. Imochao did not care about him. Said. It was fine if the Sky Sword sect lost a 9th level expert. But if they lost a 10th level expert, the price they had to pay would be too huge. My Sky Sword sect has suffered such a huge loss. It should be time for the two of you to act. Imochao urged. I'll first send some children to investigate his foundation. The black-robed expert indifferently said. Right. Only after we understand his foundation can we make a plan and obtain victory in one fell swoop. The crimson-skinned expert continued eating with jibung sounds. Don't be anxious. The habits of that old man, Southern Cloud King, are quite insidious. He would always drag things out slowly. Furthermore, he would use some underhanded methods to accumulate small victories into a huge victory. This Yingshan Snow Eagle is too young. He should be the vanguard since he is the first to be sent over. Imochao and the black-robed expert both agreed. It was originally difficult to infiltrate into the Black Devil Four Nations. They had made ample preparations this time, though who would have thought that the vanguard sent by Southern Cloud King was so formidable? Dongbo Shuiying wanted to cultivate the mirage and illusory realm. He could not improve it temporarily, and he did not have any secret treasures either. He was only lacking one phase for the Tao of Void 5 phases sealing technique. As for the pinnacle of voidification, it was even harder. His cultivation had reached a bottleneck. Dongbo Shuiying left the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace. He began strolling around the fiery Zhao capital. Fiery Zhao capital, are there any famous places in terms of delicacies and wine? Before Dongbo Shuiying left, he had asked Marquis Chu Ming. Marquis Chu Ming had a deep understanding of this. At that moment he passed a set of information regarding delicacies and wine to Dongbo Shuiying. If there's anything, just send a transmission to me. And just like that, Shuiying brought his servant Magic Dragon to stroll around. He visited many places with delicacies. There were small taverns by the roadside or towering and vast restaurants. There were even some bustling places. As long as there were delicacies and wine, Dongbo Shuiying would go and have a taste. The 5th place. After eating all sorts of delicacies and drinking all sorts of wine, Dongbo Shuiying arrived outside a tavern in a good mood. Previously he was no longer troubled by the bottleneck. At this moment he felt relaxed and happy. Delicious. Not bad. Tsk, I should buy more of this wine. Dongbo Shuiying was enjoying his meal. His servant Magic Dragon was also forcefully requested by Dongbo Shuiying to sit by the side and accompany him to eat. The area occupied by the tavern was not huge and it only had a single level. Nevertheless, business was booming and there were many customers. After Dongbo Shuiying reached grand perfection in the Southern Cloud Sacred Body, he could retract his aura like a mortal. Even though his servant Magic Dragon could retract his aura as well, his concealment technique was slightly weaker. Hence, Unity Realm experts could sense the aura of the Magic Dragon. The manager of this tavern was filled with reverence and had arranged the best seats for Shuiying. Halfway through the meal. Scram. Hurry up and scram further away. Our master has booked this tavern. Everyone else, scram. One could see a group of Unity Realm experts barging into this tavern. When the customers saw this, they were so frightened that they hurriedly left. It is actually a group of Unity Realm experts. It seems they are the subordinates of the protectors. Their master should likely have a huge origin. The majority of the customers were ordinary cultivators. There were very few Unity Realm experts. Naturally, all of them fled. In the capital of the Fiery Zhao Nation, if one wanted to live longer, one had to be tactful. When it was time to hide, one had to hide. The two of you hurry up and leave. Those Unity Realm experts pointed at Dongbo Shuiying and his servant Magic Dragon who were still seated there. Dongbo Shuiying frowned slightly. The servant Magic Dragon immediately stood up. The aura on the surface of his body suddenly erupted. A surging tyrannical aura surged out. This Magic Dragon could reach the 9th level. The surging aura frightened those Unity Realm experts so much that they turned pale. The muscular Magic Dragon roared, "Scram! Hua!" At this moment, a luxurious carriage slowly descended from midair. Master is here. Trouble? Those Unity Realm experts had ugly expressions. But they still respectfully welcomed the master outside the tavern. One could see that there was a group of protectors protecting the carriage. There were even beauties serving them. There were 2 males seated there. One was handsome and devilish-looking male who was emitting a primal chaos aura. As for the other luxurious green-robed male, he was merely at the Unity realm. What is going on? The luxurious green-robed male indifferently asked. Your Highness, there are some customers who aren't willing to leave. One of them is a primal chaos expert. A servant below answered. Primal chaos realm? A primal chaos expert dares to be so arrogant in the fiery Zhao capital? The luxurious green-robed male sneered. He was naturally disdainful. He was the 7th prince of the fiery Zhao nation, and this time he invited a personal disciple of Blood Devil religious master, from the Black Devil Great Lake who was currently at the 9th level strength. And the pupils of the handsome and devilish-looking male by his side dilated. He carefully looked at the muscular man standing and the white-robed young man seated within the tavern. He felt apprehensive. It's him? The handsome and devilish-looking male felt flustered. Even though Southern Cloud King and the 3 religious masters from the Black Devil Great Lake had reached a compromise, both parties had never stopped fighting. However, the fighting and killing between the two sides had never stopped. The Black Devil Great Lake often fought, even slaughtering people for blood sacrifices. And with the Summer Wind Ancient Nation leading the way, the Southern Cloud Nation, Snowhook Nation, and Maple Nest Nation would frequently retaliate. Who would have thought that it is Brother Snow Eagle? Sorry for disturbing you. The handsome and devilish-looking male announced. At the same time, he transmitted to the 7th prince by the side, hurry up and leave. That is Ying Shan Snow Eagle. What? This 7th prince was so frightened that his face turned pale. As they were prepared to leave, 3 insects of different colors came stealthily from the void. They tunneled into the 3 protectors by the side of the tavern. At that moment, the 3 protectors trembled slightly. Closely following that, they turned towards that white-robed young man who was currently calmly drinking his wine within the tavern. And Dongbo Shuiying, who had always been casual and disregarded the outside world, frowned at this moment. He looked up at those 3 protectors. With his void senses, he naturally knew that those 3 strange insects had entered the bodies of those 3 protectors. Those 3 protectors were currently dead. It's a pity that the venomous insects came too suddenly. He could not save these 3 pitiful protectors in time. Master has asked you to leave. Why aren't you leaving? Scram. The 3 protectors furiously roared. They simply walked into the tavern. The 7th prince and that handsome and devilish-looking male who were about to leave on the carriage were stunned when they saw that. You 3 fools, why aren't you leaving? Hurry up. The 7th prince angrily roared. And the handsome and devilish-looking male by the side had already noticed that something was amiss. Not good. Not giving face to my master? Are you seeking death? Those 3 protectors roared. Even though they were walking, their speed was fast. They took just a few steps to reach where Dongbo Shuiying was. Dongbo Shuiying looked up. He placed his wine cup down and his gaze landed on those 3 protectors. An unseen ripple suddenly swept out. The bodies of the 3 protectors instantly shattered. They dissipated in the world, revealing 3 insects of different colors. These 3 insects were unharmed. They had completely resisted against the suppression of Dongbo Shuiying's Scarlet Cloud domain. Chapter 1066. Under the invisible and terrifying ripples, the 3 insects with completely different auras were completely unharmed. The moment they appeared, the guards outside the tavern, the 7th prince, and the handsome man sitting in the chariot couldn't help but tremble, and a sense of fear and awe welled up in their hearts. Of the 3 insects, one was faintly discernible. It was a translucent silver poisonous insect. Another was a black insect. It seemed the most ordinary. The final insect was the one that instilled fear in the surrounding cultivators. It was a dark green insect that was currently emitting a horrifying fog. This fog naturally affected Dongbo Shuiying and his servant Magic Dragon who were closest to it. Not good. Such a terrifying poisonous insect. The expression of the handsome devilish male changed greatly. There was once an unparalleled existence in the Realm Heart Great Land who nurtured insects. He was called Devouring Realm Great Emperor. He had even opened up a unique space and sealed a large number of subordinates. He even bestowed some formidable poisonous insects to his subordinates, allowing them to fuse as one, allowing some of the weaker subordinates to become ultra-strong experts. That was during the period before the First War of the Ancient Nations. The Realm Heart Great Land was incredibly chaotic, and many experts were scattered all over the place. Hence, the historical records were vague. Nonetheless, that devouring realm Great Emperor was ultimately an unparalleled existence comparable to Ancestor Fan. Hence, there were many records regarding him. Even now, many cultivators were searching for some historical remains left behind by this Devouring Realm Great Emperor. That's right. Devouring Realm Great Emperor had died before the First War of the Ancient Nations. The reason for his death was vague. There was the shadow of the myriad realms ancient nation behind it. Because the absolute art that Devouring Realm Great Emperor created to nurture and control insects, the Devouring Realm True Scripture, was currently in the hands of one of the 5 supreme ancestors of the myriad realms ancient nation, Realm Beast King. Currently, almost all experts who specialized in controlling poisonous insects came from the myriad realms ancient nation. An expert from the myriad realms ancient nation? To deal against Ying Shan Snow Eagle from the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion? The handsome devilish male felt his heart turning cold. He wanted to stay as far away from these 2 experts as possible. Nevertheless, the battle happened too quickly. The poisonous fog spread too quickly, and the surrounding space had been sealed. He could not escape in time. Poisonous insects? From the myriad realms ancient nation? Dongbo Shuiying was still sitting there, but a short stick appeared in his hand, and he started to casually knock on the ground with it. Although he was sitting in the same place, the tip of the short stick strangely appeared at every insect and knocked on them. Bang bang bang. It seemed like 3 random knocks, but there was a mysterious aura faintly dissipating from the knocks. Among the 3 poisonous insects, only the dark green insect that emitted the poisonous fog was immediately shattered into powder. Although the other 2 poisonous insects were smashed and rolled, they were not damaged at all. Dongbo Shuiying was shocked. It seemed as if he was casually striking out, but in reality he was executing one of the secret impartation techniques of the Southern Cloud 12 sacred styles, Arch Destruction. This was definitely a powerful and tyrannical move. This move, combined with the Crimson Cloud domain, avoided the weakness of a direct attack that could be easily blocked. Instead, it would appear directly in front of the enemy, and its power would completely explode. However, he only managed to kill 1 poisonous insect. This poisonous insect has such a strong body. The path of insect beast is indeed terrifying. Dongbo Shuiying was inwardly startled. Cultivators were extremely careful when refining their bodies. They would not allow themselves to be injured. If their soul was damaged or destroyed, they would die. But the insect beasts were different. The insect beasts could reproduce in large numbers, and even though it was rare to nurture a poisonous insect to a frightening level, it would merely be a loss if it died. Hence, the Tao of insect could be continuously researched and nurtured into different poisonous insects that specialized in different aspects. The Arch Destruction could break apart the cage, yet I could only destroy one of the 3 poisonous insects. The Devouring Realm True Scripture is indeed formidable. Dongbo Shuiying thought. Every single one of the supreme 5 ancestors from the myriad realms ancient nation was frightening. Even the powerful summer wind ancient nation was vaguely suppressed by them. Die. Dongbo Shuiying once again waved the short stick. Those 2 insects that were smashed by the Arch Destruction were once again struck by the short stick. The short stick seemed ordinary, yet in reality, it was a transformation of the Scarlet Cloud God's spear. It was not necessary for him to engage in close combat against these poisonous insects. Pooh. Pooh. The short stick struck its target once again. The faintly discernible silver poisonous insect trembled, yet it remained unharmed. As for the black insect, its body trembled violently. Blood leaked out from its mouth and nose, and its aura became significantly weaker. This is the first time I fought against a 10th level piercing void. It is so difficult to kill insects. Dongbo Shuiying's eyes brightened. Void Pierce was the most ruthless and troublesome killing move in Crimson Cloud combat technique. Even battle formations were useless in front of it. Even if one wore some powerful secret treasures to protect themselves, Void Pierce could ignore the secret treasures and enter their bodies to destroy them. Ping ping ping. The short stick in Dongbo Shuiying's hand turned into an afterimage. In an instant, it struck the black insect 19 times, causing it to explode. Instead, it was Dongbo Shuiying who was unable to get close to the venomous silver insect with just 2 strikes, preventing it from escaping. There is such a unique insect. Dongbo Shuiying's eyes lit up as he stared at the faintly discernible silver poisonous insect. The silver poisonous insect wanted to attack, but Dongbo Shuiying easily blocked it. Wah! First he waved his hand. The entire space was flattened and turned into a painting. The silver poisonous insect also became part of the painting. However, the painting soon crumbled, and the silver poisonous insect continued to fly out. I can't kill it or capture it. So I have to use my illusory technique? Dongbo Shuang thought to himself. He knew that the owner of these poisonous insects could use them to understand the entire battle. Once he used his illusory technique, he would be exposed. Previously, although he used it against Chang Su Wang was instantly killed without anyone noticing. However, since he dared to use it previously, he didn't mind it too much. After all, he had mastered the doppelganger technique, and there was no need for him to be so secretive. Such a unique insect. In order to capture it, it doesn't matter if I have to use my illusory technique. Dongbo Shuang looked at the faintly discernible silver poisonous insect with anticipation in his eyes. He sent a thought. The formless illusory technique swept over. No matter how heaven-defying a poisonous insect was, its will was unable to resist against Dongbo Shuang's illusory technique. Instantly, it froze in midair and started to fall. South, Dongbo Shuang stretched out his hand and grabbed the silver poisonous insect that he had destroyed. How unique. Dongbo Shuang looked at it carefully. With his void realm, under his observation, the faintly discernible body of the silver poisonous insect expanded rapidly, becoming like a huge continent. There were countless mysterious runes circulating on the body of this silver poisonous insect. These mysterious runes were naturally formed when the poisonous insect was being nurtured. This caused the silver poisonous insect to be innately compatible with the countless black fog spherical particles of the void. Each and every action of the silver poisonous insect would cause the black fog spherical particles to change. Even if it was attacked, it could borrow the power of the void to negate the attack. Even though it had not reached the pinnacle of voidification, Dongbo Shuang's unpredictable, piercing through void, this silver poisonous insect was able to negate about 98% of the force. The remaining force was easily withstood by its terrifying body. This voidification ability is compatible with the essence of the void. It is truly mystical. Dongbo Shuang had been bitterly comprehending the origin phase of the 5 phases sealing technique for many years. Now that he saw a mystical creature that could control the black fog spherical particles, he naturally could not help but want to capture it. Even though cultivation was mystical, origin worlds were similarly mystical. For instance, the destruction devils that were born in the origin world, primal chaos void, were like General Mo. They had reached the pinnacle of voidification at birth. Even in the realm Heart Great Land and origin world, Shuang was able to nurture a poisonous insect that was so terrifying. On the contrary, if one wanted to cultivate to this level, it would be extremely difficult. Go, let us return. Dongbo Shuang stood up. Now that he had gotten his hands on the silver poisonous insect, he no longer had the mood to enjoy delicacies. He only wanted to enter closed-door cultivation to study the essence of the void. Yes. His servant, Magic Dragon, acknowledged, saying it was slow. In reality, Dongbo Shuang merely sat there. First, he used an unseen ripple to eliminate the 3 protectors that were controlled by him. Following that, he took up a short rod and struck 3 poisonous insects. No matter how the 3 poisonous insects tried to fly, the short rod would strangely land on their bodies. 2 were killed and 1 was captured. As for the remnant poisonous fog, Shuang controlled it with his void domain and teleported it a few million kilometers high in the sky. Without the source of the poisonous insects controlling it, the strength of the poisonous fog would naturally weaken until it dissipated. The group of people outside the wine shop were all respectfully watching as that white-robed young man brought his servant away. Chapter 1067. Within a residence within the inner department of the Sky Sword Sect Palace, there was a black-robed expert seated cross-legged. Beneath his black robe was fog, and within the fog, there were poisonous insects flying about. His pair of eyes formed from red insects remained calm, exterminating a soul-leading poisonous insect in a single move. This power, he must have grasped the arch-destruction. He has grasped the 2 secret impartation techniques of the Southern Cloud 12 sacred styles. It seems he has grasped the avatar technique too. How troublesome. Since he has grasped the avatar technique, he is truly an undefeatable opponent. Like the famous Gong Liang Yi from the Southern Cloud sacred religion, he could move unhindered in all directions with a single sword. He had contributed greatly to the Southern Cloud sacred religion, yet he had fallen twice. Those 2 times were because Southern Cloud King could not save him in time. But even if he fell, he could easily make a comeback due to his avatars. The power devil insect has died so quickly? He has almost grasped the Scarlet Cloud combat technique as well? The pupils of the black-robed expert dilated. The Power Devil insect was named after the Power Devil. It was an extremely tyrannical insect, and it was also the poisonous insect he mainly nurtured. About 1/3 of the top-graded poisonous insects were Power Devil insects. This insect had incredibly strong bodies. Even 10th level experts had a hard time killing them. Furthermore, their attacks were incredibly violent. But the Scarlet Cloud combat technique was extremely vicious. Most could not resist against it even if one had a strong fleshy body or secret treasures. He did not have the Scarlet Cloud combat technique absolute art. He comprehended it with just a spear. The black-robed expert softly shook his head. The Void Dragon insect has died too. Illusory realm? The strand of consciousness that the black-robed expert left in the 3 insects was extinguished. But he naturally did not care about this little loss. He has grasped the 2 secret importation techniques, comprehended the Scarlet Cloud combat technique almost entirely, and has at least an 8th level illusory realm technique? The black-robed expert pondered. Naturally, Dongbo Shuiying did not need to use his full strength to deal with a single poisonous insect. He merely unleashed an 8th level illusory realm technique to extinguish the consciousness of the poisonous insect. I have done almost everything. I have lost 3 formidable poisonous insects, and I have almost grasped the techniques of Yingshan Snow Eagle. Next it should be time for them to act. The black-robed expert was relaxed. Even though this little loss was slightly painful, it was not hard to nurture more insects after spending more treasures. Figure out the enemy's background. The next step was to lay out a plan to assassinate Dongbo Shuiying. An opponent that was easy to deal with could be dealt with openly, and it would also increase the reputation of the Sky Sword Path. Yingshan Snow Eagle was too hard to deal with. It was better to eliminate him in the dark. This time, the Sky Sword Path had advanced into the Black Devil 4 nations, and with the support of 2 ancient nations, they were naturally well prepared. Get rid of him secretly. The only thing we need to be careful of is his illusory realm technique. But he had cultivated for a short period, and the Southern Cloud sacred religion did not have any formidable mirage and illusory realm absolute art. Hence it should not be that strong. Furthermore, ever since the birth of Yingshan Snow Eagle, not a single mirage and illusory realm 10th level secret treasure was sold in the realm Heart Great Land. Most likely, his illusory realm had not reached the 9th level. Otherwise, that old man Southern Cloud King would have bought a mirage and illusory realm secret treasure for his disciple. To be able to deal with Changsu Wang, even if the illusion realm isn't at the 9th level, it should be at the peak of the 8th level. The experts from the Sky Sword sect began discussing in the dark. Even though the Scarlet Cloud combat technique and Southern Cloud 12 sacred styles were formidable, they were not afraid of them. Even Scarlet Cloud Paragon Master was killed in the past. Being one of the 10 great religions, the Sky Sword sect could naturally deal against a 10th level expert if they wanted to. The only headache was the illusory realm. If it was at the 10th level, that would be truly frightening. Under the envelopment of the illusory realm, if one could withstand it, one would live. Otherwise one would die. Fortunately, absolute arts at the 10th level were too precious, and they were not taught to outsiders. It was impossible for Yingshan Snow Eagle to learn them. Only by relying on secret treasures could one hope to reach the 10th level. Over the past billions of years, not a single 10th level mirage and illusory realm secret treasure was sold. Hence everyone was still at ease. If there were any secret treasures sold, they would most likely have to investigate further. If they ascertained that Dongbo Shuiying had an illusory realm technique at the 10th level, they would most likely give up on this plan of advancing into the Sky Sword sect. An illusory realm expert at the 10th level could practically sweep across 99% of 10th level experts. Every single one of them was an existence that could cause the expressions of others to change. The Sky Sword sect and the Southern Cloud sacred religion would likely start negotiating again. The plan has been set. A total of 5 10th level experts will be working together. The few of them have arrived. We can act anytime. Yingshan Snow Eagle is currently in closed-door cultivation within the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace. Let's wait until he leaves the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace before acting. After all, the Sacred Palace is filled with many arrays. It will be disadvantageous to us if we act there. The Sky Sword sect was extremely patient. 5 experts. 1 came from the Myriad Realms ancient nation, 2 from the Fan clan, and 2 from the Sky Sword sect. These were specially deployed according to the assassination plan. Not just the Fan clan or the Myriad Realms ancient nation, they had many experts under them. Many 10th level experts cultivated extremely terrifying secret importation techniques. No choice. They had a huge backing. The stronger they were, the greater the advantage the ancient nation had. Because they had many formidable secret importation techniques, any cosmos god at the same level from an ancient nation could deal against several experts from outside the nation. This was also the reason why many experts from the 6 great ancient nations disdained those from outside the nation. Within the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace, within a meditation room, Dongbo Shuiying was currently in closed-door cultivation. According to the records, this insect beast should be called the Void Dragon insect. Dongbo Shuiying looked at the floating corpse of an indistinct silver venomous insect. For the sake of research, he had even used the intelligence system of the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion to collect information regarding this insect beast. The cultivation technique to nurture venomous insects was precious and hard to find. But it was easy to obtain information on some common knowledge regarding venomous insects. There were a total of 39 void-related insects recorded in the records. The Void Dragon insect was merely one of them. Interesting. It could actually control and influence the black fog spherical particles, allowing its voidification ability to reach such a standard. In terms of voidification, it isn't any weaker than me. Dongbo Shuiying sighed inwardly. His voidification ability was likely beyond that of his senior disciple brother Gong Liang Yi and senior disciple sister Empress Ghostly. On one hand, it was the 10th level Grand Perfection Southern Cloud Sacred Body. On the other hand, the accumulation of Dongbo Shuiying's research on voidification was too profound. The Walker's hidden secrets specialized in voidification. Emperor Jiyun's 4 diagrams also contained an inheritance that allowed him to reach the pinnacle of voidification. He had even comprehended the scaled armor of General Mo Gu. He wanted to grasp the pinnacle of voidification at the primal chaos realm. Even though he had yet to achieve it, his voidification realm was extremely high. Using the Southern Cloud Sacred Body to execute the voidification technique, it wasn't any weaker than this Void Dragon insect. But my direction is to fuse with the essence of the void and become one with it. Dongbo Shuiying thought, yet I have never controlled the essence of the void before. Control? Control? Dongbo Shuiying pondered. This was another direction. He wanted to research on different aspects of the Tao of Void. After all, different paths led to the same goal. His goal wasn't just to become a cosmos god. He wanted to kill the sacred master in the future. No matter if it was to take revenge for his teacher or for the cultivators who were harmed by the sacred master in the primal chaos void, he would still die in the hands of the sacred master if he did not have the realm heart order. Hence, this person had to be killed. The pursuit of the sacred master was to control all sentient beings. It was something that every cultivator who pursued for grand transcendence could not tolerate. Life and death were not in his control. With a single order from the sacred master, he could even kill his close friends and family. Dongbo Shuiying felt that living like this was no better than death. For the sake of himself, he would harm all cultivators. Many wanted to kill the sacred master, but it's a pity that he was still the strongest expert in the primal chaos void. It is an opportunity for me to come to the realm heart great land. I have to improve my strength in a down-to-earth manner. Dongbo Shuiying thought. He no longer thought about it. The strength of the sacred master was too frightening, and he was still too far away from him. As he researched on the corpse of the Void Dragon insect, half a month passed. The Sky Sword sect remained quiet and patient. The patience of the cultivators was huge. They had dispatched 5 10th level experts specifically to deal against Dongbo Shuiying. Naturally, they were patient. They wanted to eliminate Yingshan Snow Eagle in one fell swoop and let the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion feel pain. Even though the avatars of Yingshan Snow Eagle could be cultivated back after being eliminated, many treasures were required to reach grand perfection in the Southern Cloud Sacred Body. Furthermore, the Scarlet Cloud God's Spear was precious too. The moment he died, it would be snatched away. These naturally made the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion and Dongbo Shuiying feel pain. Amen? After researching for half a month, Dongbo Shuiying had gained many insights. Not enough. Just a single Void Dragon insect isn't enough. Dongbo Shuiying could feel his understanding of the essence of the void improving. He immediately gave an order through the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion to place an order with the Fan clan in the fiery Zhao capital. I require the void lineage of the insect race. Other than the Void Dragon insect, the other 38 insect corpses. I only need one of each and they must be at the pinnacle of primal chaos realm. Dongbo Shuang ordered. Fan Clan. Being a superpower with a foundation stronger than the Moonflower Ancient Nation and Towering Sky Ancient Nation, there were many factions within. They had many claws and fangs. They helped the Sky Sword sect and extracted many benefits from them. There were also those who befriended the Southern Cloud King. There were also assassins and a large number of merchants. Hence, even if they became enemies with some experts from the Fan Clan, they could similarly befriend other experts from the Fan Clan. After all, there were all kinds of birds in the forest. This forest of the Fan Clan was too big. There were too many experts and there were too many factions too. They had more experts than the entire Black Devil Great Lake. If not for the 3 religious masters of the Black Devil Great Lake relying on the unique environment of the Black Devil Great Lake, they would have been hunted down by the Fan Clan. Brother Snow Eagle, I've just inquired. The Fan Clan's shop over at the fiery Zhao capital doesn't have any primal chaos realm insect corpses of the void lineage. Because very few of them are needed here, they have to be transferred from the Summer Wind Ancient Nation, and it will take half a day for them to be sent over. 38 different void lineage insect corpses of the pinnacle of primal chaos realm will cost a total of 130 million cosmos crystals. Marquis Chu Ming transmitted. All right. Dongbo Shuang nodded. Insect corpses were commonly traded. Because the most common way for those insects to improve was to devour the corpses of other insects. Hence, insect corpses were frequently traded. Living poisonous insects at the pinnacle of primal chaos realm were expensive, and dead ones were much cheaper. But for 38 different species, each of them would cost 130 million cosmos crystals. One could imagine that the Tao of insect required a vast amount of resources. Just half a day later. Brother Snow Eagle. Marquis Chu Ming brought along a manager from the Fan Clan in the fiery Zhao capital. He was here to deliver the goods. Sir Snow Eagle. This manager passionately passed over a light green bottle. Dongbo Shuang received the bottle. He pulled out the cork and extended his senses. There were 38 different insect corpses within, and all of them had reached the pinnacle of primal chaos realm. Dongbo Shuang did not doubt the credibility of the Fan Clan shop. Chapter 1068. The Fan Clan was ranked in the top 3 across the entire Realm Heart Great Land in terms of selling treasures. Being a shop, their reputation was fundamental. Sir Snow Eagle, feel free to instruct me if you need anything. There are many rare treasures in the Realm Heart Great Land that my Fan Clan doesn't have. That manager passionately said. Amen. Dongbo Shuang acknowledged. He threw over an ordinary storage wristband that contained 130 million cosmos crystals. Marquis Chu Ming, many thanks for your help. I'll be entering closed-door cultivation now. There's no need to disturb me if there isn't anything important. Dongbo Shuang instructed before rushing into closed-door cultivation. Hong Long Long. The palace door closed. Dongbo Shuang sat there cross-legged by himself. He opened the light green bottle, causing many void lineage insect corpses to fly out. All of them had reached the pinnacle of primal chaos realm. They had different appearances and sizes. Some were as big as a mountain. Dongbo Shuang controlled the void. Even though the space within the palace hall wasn't huge, he was able to open up a small space with the insect corpses within. These life forms are mysterious. In my hometown, the Tao of insects is much weaker. Dongbo Shuang sighed inwardly. In the primal chaos void, none of the Tao of insects had reached the cosmos god realm. And in the Realm Heart Great Land, that devouring realm Great Emperor had reached an unparalleled level in the Tao of insects, comparable to Ancestor Fan and the others. Nonetheless, he fell. Ever since the existence of the Realm Heart Great Land, several unparalleled existences had fallen. There were even more at the level of Scarlet Cloud Paragon Master. No choice. There were too many experts here and they had all sorts of techniques. It was normal for unparalleled existences to fall in a battle at the apex. Dongbo Shuang carefully studied them. Including the Void Dragon insect, these 39 species were all species that had reached the pinnacle of primal chaos realm in the long history of the Realm Heart Great Land. Every single one of them had gone through countless failures before succeeding. They contained the crystallization of the predecessor's wisdom. Mysterious. Every single one of them is mysterious. Dongbo Shuang became more and more infatuated as he looked at them. Every insect that could reach the pinnacle of primal chaos realm had a unique characteristic. There were a total of 25 types of black fog spherical particles that could manipulate the essence of the void. As for those that were proficient in voidification, there were a total of 37 of them. It couldn't be helped. As a void-type insect beast, it was almost instinctive for it to be proficient in voidification. Voidification actually has so many tricks? Dongbo Shui Ying's eyes lit up. If he were to immerse himself in cultivation for billions of years, he probably wouldn't be able to think of so many directions. With the insect beast's corpse in front of him, he came to a sudden realization. Without pointing it out, it was very difficult to comprehend it. At that moment, Dongbo Shuang was in a frenzy. Reaching a bottleneck in one's cultivation was a very painful thing because no matter how hard one thought, there would be no results. On the other hand, the feeling of constant enlightenment was very wonderful. He could feel himself improving at all times, and his understanding of the void was constantly improving. No matter how long he cultivated, he would not feel tired. The corpses of each void worm beast represented their own uniqueness. His understanding of the 5 phases sealing technique's true form was also gradually increasing. His understanding of voidification was also improving. Strange, why is he in closed-door cultivation for so long? Why isn't he coming out? Force him out. The experts sent over by the Sky Sword sect were quite patient. After all, with their strength, they could enter closed-door cultivation for hundreds of millions of years. But currently, it was a crucial moment in the battle between the Sky Sword sect and the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion. At this moment, that Ying Shan Snow Eagle actually entered closed-door cultivation for several 100,000 years? That was too daring, right? Unless he thought that the Sky Sword sect would not act? On the 90,000th year of Dongbo Shui Ying's closed-door cultivation, a sharp claw appeared mysteriously amidst the heavy rain. It directly tore apart the array protection of the fiery Zhao capital's Southern Cloud Sacred Palace, snatching away that painting that had always been hanging there. This sacred palace was much bigger than the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace in Ardent Fire City. Its array was much more formidable too. Only a cosmos god could break it apart. Clearly it was a cosmos god who acted in the dark. It's a pity that Dongbo Shuiying remained in closed-door cultivation. Gradually, the Sky Sword sect began provoking the Southern Cloud Sacred Religion, increasing the number of battles with them. But because they were wary of Dongbo Shuiying, the provocation from the Sky Sword sect was not too huge. The truly formidable experts were not willing to act because they were not confident of dealing against Ying Shan Snow Eagle. They only needed to provoke Ying Shan Snow Eagle into appearing. By then they could kill him in one fell swoop. Marquis Chu Ming was ordered by Dongbo Shuiying not to disturb him unless there was something important. Hence, his closed-door cultivation was very quiet. I have been in closed-door cultivation for 300,000 years, yet I have yet to grasp the origin phase. Instead, I am approaching grand perfection in the pinnacle of voidification. Shuiying held onto the faint green jade bottle. Those void insect corpses all flew into the bottle. Following that, Shuiying stuffed the cork back into the bottle before leaving. Hong Long Long, the door opened. Dongbo Shuiying walked out. He stood within the courtyard looking at the sky. It was currently late at night. This realm heart great land was different from the primal chaos void. There was neither a sun nor a moon here. In the middle of the night, only the light of the Guardian Formation above the fiery Zhao nation's capital could barely illuminate the capital. Pinnacle of voidification? Dongbo Shuiying sighed. These void insects had given him many inspirations in the aspect of voidification. He had improved greatly in this aspect, and had reached an unfathomable stage in the aspect of voidification. Dongbo Shuiying reckoned that he should be comparable to his teacher Gu Qi in the aspect of voidification. He was just a single strand away from reaching grand perfection. In terms of the grasp of voidification, Dongbo Shuiying felt that he had surpassed almost all void insects. Now, I just need a little bit of enlightenment to break through the final strand of obstruction. Dongbo Shuiying was currently thinking about the scaled armor of General Mo Gu. Because only the inscriptions on that scaled armor were at the primal chaos realm level and had reached grand perfection. It was concise and filled with a mystical sense of beauty. It was much more concise than Emperor Jiyun's cultivation technique to the pinnacle of voidification and void primogenitor's cultivation technique. Even though the void insects had their own specialties, they had not reached the pinnacle of voidification. They were merely a reference for Dongbo Shuiying to think in different directions. I'm just lacking a final breakthrough. Dongbo Shuiying pondered for a moment before temporarily throwing it to the back of his mind. Origin phase? Dongbo Shuiying felt helpless too. It was truly difficult to reach the pinnacle of voidification. Even Southern Cloud King and Emperor Jiyun could not create a cultivation technique that allowed them to grasp the pinnacle of voidification at the primal chaos realm. Naturally, they did not have an opportunity like Dongbo Shuiying to research on the scaled armor of General Mo Gu. Void Primogenitor might succeed if he researched on it for a longer period. It's a pity that Dongbo Shuiying could not return now. But, origin phase, was comparatively easier. After all, he only needed to reach small success. There was no need for him to reach grand perfection or grand perfection. I've researched on too many void insects and pondered on too many directions. This has messed up my heart. After all, I only need to reach small success. Dongbo Shuiying thought, calm down, calm down. I should continue researching on the direction that I am most confident in. I should be able to succeed by then. Brother Snow Eagle. Marquis Chu Ming hurried over. He sensed that the door to the closed door of Dongbo Shuiying's palace had opened. Marquis Chu Ming, I'm going out for a walk. Dongbo Shuiying said, to relax. You have to be more careful. It is fine within the sacred palace, but who knows if the Sky Sword sect might have some hidden techniques to deal with you outside. Marquis Chu Ming reminded. Rest assured. Dongbo Shuiying chuckled. He clearly did not care about this. Furthermore, in his heart, he was still vaguely looking forward to a battle. A battle that could give him sufficient pressure might allow him to break through. As Dongbo Shuiying stealthily left the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace and walked alone on the streets of the fiery Zhao capital, even though it was night time, many shops were still open. Many restaurants were still bustling with activity. After all, to cultivators, there was not much difference between night and day. And in the surroundings, there were naturally scouts arranged by the Sky Sword sect. Discovered Ying Shan Snow Eagle. Ying Shan Snow Eagle has appeared. He left the Southern Cloud Sacred Palace by himself. Many pieces of information were immediately reported upwards. Chapter 1069. In a hall of the Sky Sword Sect Palace. 7 figures gathered here. The one sitting at the head of the table was naturally the person in charge of the Black Devil Four Nations, Thunder King Mo Chao. Mo Chao was dressed in a purple robe as he sat there with a smile on his face as he looked around. The surrounding experts were all 10th level experts, and their origins were extraordinary. The 3 on the left were from the Myriad Realm's ancient kingdom. Aside from the mysterious expert with venomous insects under his black robe, the other 2 were also extraordinary. One was a youth with dazzling red hair, and there was a wisp of flame rising from his forehead. Anyone with a bit of insight would be able to tell that he was a core disciple of one of the 2 most mysterious clans in the Myriad Realm's ancient kingdom, the Blazing Clan. Only those with a sufficiently pure bloodline would be able to naturally manifest a divine flame. The black-robed expert, the core expert of the Blaze clan, and a short-haired man draped in a black cloak. The other side. They were the man with dark red skin and 2 experts from the Sky Sword Path. Your Highness Blaze Wind, this time we'll have to rely on you. If you can't suppress that Ying Shan Snow Eagle, it'll be hard for us to kill him within a short period. Thunder King Mo Chao said, once the battle drags on, Southern Cloud King will be able to lend a helping hand. Don't worry. The dazzling red-haired teenager nonchalantly said, Southern Cloud King received the news first before acting from such a great distance. We have already attacked several times and should have exterminated that Ying Shan Snow Eagle. At their level, the speed at which they fought was too fast. In the blink of an eye, they had attacked several times. Moreover, we even invited Raindust Walker this time. The dazzling red-haired youth looked at the short-haired man in a black cloak. The black-cloaked, short-haired man smiled and said, Your Highness is overpraising me. There is also General Fan Chu who, one of the 100 battle devil gods of the Fan clan. With Raindust Walker and brother Fan Chu who working together, there naturally wouldn't be any mishaps. The dazzling red-haired teenager said. Haha. The crimson-skinned horned man who was eating metal and stone laughed out loud as well. Your Highness Blaze Wind, you praise me too much. Fan Chu. In the past, the Fan clan's skyrending Great Paragon had a total of 99 ultra-powerful experts under him. It was skyrending Great Paragon who obtained a piece of rare and unique, Scarlet Devil 9 Dream Beast Core Stone after it died, under a unique opportunity. In the end, he relied on it to reconstruct the 99 experts, and all of them were at the 10th level strength. These 99 were also known as the 100 battle demonic gods. During the later stages of the First War of the Ancient Nations, they had already made many contributions. Each of their bodies was incomparably tyrannical, and their strength was boundless. However, after a long period of time, there were only 30 or so hundred battle demonic gods left. General Chu, who will be working with you in a little while, the black-cloaked man said with a faint smile. Haha, it's all thanks to Rain Dust Walker. I just had to put in a bit of effort. Fan Chu, who was also very polite. The three of them were talking. On the other hand, he didn't pay much attention to the other two experts in this operation, because 10th level experts had differences in strength too. If one grasped a formidable secret importation or a horrifying secret treasure, it was normal for him to fight against 3 to 4 other 10th level experts. For instance, Dongbo Shuang grasped the formidable Scarlet Cloud combat technique and Southern Cloud 12 sacred styles at the same time. He also had a Scarlet Cloud God Spear. If he fought with White Cloud Devil Master, he would be able to suppress him completely. Even 3 to 4 of them could not do anything to him. One of the 100 battle demonic gods, Fan Chu Hu, the noble core disciple of the Blaze clan, His Highness Blaze Wind, and a walker under one of the 5 ancestors from the Myriad Realms ancient nation, Drifter, Rain Dust Walker. The origins of these 3 were huge. Comparatively speaking, the 2 experts sent by the Sky Sword sect had much smaller origins. Humph. The Myriad Realms ancient nation and Summer Wind ancient nation are both arrogant. They are looking down on us 2 brothers. The 2 experts seated there, one wearing a water blue robe and the other wearing a fiery red robe, transmitted to each other. They did not say anything at all. All right, Ying Shan Snow Eagle is currently walking casually on the streets. Fellow cultivators can move anytime. Thunder King Imo Chow chuckled. His eyes were filled with expectation. I'll wait here for the good news from fellow cultivators. The dazzling red-haired teenager stood up. Let's not waste any more time. Let's set off now. All right. Rain Dust Walker and Fan Chu, who both stood up. The 2 experts from the Sky Sword sect also stood up. Go. Who? They disappeared stealthily. On the streets, Dongbo Shuang leisurely walked by himself. The surrounding air was cool. Looking at the bustling scene of shops and the occasional luxurious carriages flying across the sky, Dongbo Shuang felt much more relaxed. In his mind, bits and pieces of comprehension towards the origin phase of the 5 phases sealing technique began appearing and colliding with each other. Hua. It was silent. Dongbo Shuang felt the surrounding streets becoming much quieter. Sounds transmitted over from afar had become low and deep. His movements had also slowed down. Not good. How could Dongbo Shuang not know that he had fallen into a trap? In the distant sky, that dazzling red-haired teenager stood there. He pointed in the direction of Dongbo Shuang, causing time to descend and envelop Dongbo Shuang. This His Highness Blaze Wind sneered. Controlling time is a talent that I awakened. Furthermore, I have cultivated the scroll of the past from the 3 realms technique. I'm afraid you're still lacking if you want to break free from my time domain. Go. Die. At this moment, a water blue-robed expert and a fiery red-robed expert acted at the same time. Everything was going according to their plan. It was going smoothly. Open, open, open. Dongbo Shuang understood that he had fallen into the enemy's time domain. Here, the flow of time would be controlled by others. In reality, the stronger one was, the harder it would be to control the surrounding time. Just like back in the Great Void Heaven Temple, the price to accelerate the time of a primal chaos expert was huge. Furthermore, that was the interior of a powerful secret treasure that was deliberately refined. If the enemy wanted to control a region of the outside world, especially when Dongbo Shuang had to resist, the difficulty would be much higher. Hong Long Long, many circular void maelstrom appeared on the surface of Dongbo Shuang's body. These maelstrom were like 3 revolving void stairs that revolved around the surface of Dongbo Shuang's body. It was none other than the protective technique of the Scarlet Cloud combat technique. Break. Wielding the Scarlet Cloud God Spear, Shuang stirred the surrounding void, causing it to rumble. He did not even have the time to execute the Arch Destruction or other techniques before the enemy's attack arrived. Because the flow of time was too slow, causing his movements to be slow as well. He could barely execute his protective technique and domain with a single thought. Hua. A deep blue fog immediately invaded his body. It came too quickly and was too cold. It was so cold that Dongbo Shuang felt his entire body stiffen. At the same time, a surge of fiery red particles invaded his body. It was too hot, so hot that his body was about to melt. These 2 attacks were too fast. Furthermore, they completely enveloped the time domain, and Ying was trapped within the time domain. He was forced to endure the attacks. One was extremely cold and the other was extremely hot. They were all 10th level techniques. Good GG. The left half of his body was incomparably cold. It felt as if every single cell particle was about to stop fluctuating. Under this coldness, everything was about to stop. Chi. The right half of his body was too hot. Ying felt his body was about to melt. Following that, this horrifying heat clashed with another wave of extreme cold within his body. Wang. What a fellow. He isn't dead yet? Regardless of whether it was His Highness Blaze Wind who controlled the time domain or other experts, even the black-robed expert and Thunder King Imochao who were watching the battle from afar, all of them felt startled. Because one was extremely cold and the other extremely hot. Furthermore, they were both 10th level techniques and Ying could not resist them at all. The damage dealt to his body was too horrifying. It was 10 times more terrifying than simply resisting the extreme cold or heat. Even Grand Perfection Southern Cloud's sacred body should have directly collapsed. But Dongbo Ying withstood it. Cold, hot. Dongbo Ying felt uncomfortable as his body suffered from the opposite stimulation. Yet his body withstood it. Break. He could even forcibly control his body. He pierced out with the spear in his hand into the void. Hong, arch destruction. Even though an extremely small crack appeared, and a mysterious aura was emitting from it, that crack instantly closed up. The entire time domain trembled for a moment before remaining stable. General Chu Hu. That black-cloaked short-haired male chuckled. Rain Dust Walker. Fan Chu Hu was calm. He had experienced many massacres since the First War of the Ancient Nations until now. To him, this situation was merely playing around. Hong. The two of them acted at the same time. A dark green great hammer appeared in the hands of the black-cloaked short-haired male. He waved the great hammer soundlessly. Everywhere it passed, it did not cause any fluctuations. The wind did not move and neither did the dust move. The great hammer silently smashed towards Dongbo Ying. And Fan Chu who simply extended his hand. His palm expanded and an enormous scarlet bronze palm smashed over. Hong Long. The void was torn apart and many waves were formed in the surroundings. This power was much more violent and ferocious than any previous move. It was likely that ordinary cosmos gods could not compare to this palm. The tyrannical reputation of the 100-battle devil god was forged through countless massacres. Two famous existences had unleashed their killing moves at the same time. One was silent, and the other was filled with power. Both descended at the same time. That you're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.